Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're coming to you with another Wednesday episode sponsored by our continuing sponsors, Great Fox Games.
I hung out with them at the PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that because we never start right with board games.
No,
this is a board gaming podcast.
No.
So if you're a new listener, this is a board gaming podcast, but we'll diverge for a while.
That was just to hook you.
Yeah.
And now the diversions.
Yes. So it's been a huge few days for me. It's been great.
Okay.
So today, a day of recording, so anybody who's watching the stream right now, which is currently no one, but
I'm watching it, okay?
there you go. It does not recognize you as a person, Zach.
Nor does most
of us.
That sounds
right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so today, day of recording, Megan and I went snowboarding. They had a pretty good weekend. They got a decent amount of snow Sunday and especially I think Sunday night. So Monday was really good, apparently. But Megan and I both worked. When we went up today, it was still really nice. Turns out, doesn't get super tracked out when it snows a lot on a Sunday night and people just ride on Monday because Mondays aren't as busy. Shocking, I know. But so we were able to actually find some good snow to ride in. So we had a good time riding. My new boots that I'd gotten, I think we've talked about them on the show. My lady boots. Yep, exactly. Holy shit, they are amazing. They have brought my snowboarding level up a notch.
It's weird when you have shoes that fit.
Well, my other ones fit. They didn't fit right.
I feel that means they didn't fit.
I mean, I think they were just the wrong style of boot for the way I ride.
Okay.
We'll put it that way. They fit my feet fine they were more aggressive, and I don't ride that way. More aggressive, meaning if this is the base of the shoe, the back is like this.
Okay.
So it forces your knees forward and forces you to more of a crouch, which not so much my speed.
It sounds like a bad shoe.
And then the way for snowboarding, not necessarily. And then the way the boas, the way the boa worked on it.
Not bola.
Yeah, boa. It had one that tightened a little piece that went over the top of my foot, right at the top of my ankle, pulled my ankle down, my heel down into my boot. And then the other one was just all of the laces on the front, just cranked up. But the problem was that when I would ride, as I'd carve back and forth, leaning forward and leaning back, it would kind of eventually stretch out the upper portion while pulling the lower portion just crazy tight and crushing my feet. All around terrible boots. I do not ever recommend anyone ever buy the K2 Masis boots. Fuck those. Unless they change their design, which rumor is that they are, because it's been widely known that those are apparently not a great design. My new boots, it's a dual boa system, but now one boa controls the lower, one controls the upper. Allows me to dial it in a little bit better. But yeah, long story short, or long story slightly less long, new boots are awesome. Snowboarding today was great. Megan and I had an awesome time. Japan is in 6 weeks, and I don't even know what we're gonna I'm so excited for Japan, for everything, but especially also the snowboarding in Japan.
Speaking of snow, I left for Chicago 2 weeks ago Monday.
Yeah, so it's been 2 weeks since we recorded.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And that following afternoon, a lot of snow happened.
It was our
This is true.
biggest snowstorm in November, I think.
Yeah, because when I came back the following Monday, there was still snow.
And a good amount of it, too.
Yeah.
There's still a shocking amount of snow from that snowstorm.
Yeah.
The streets looked like it's the usual day after where they're kind of icy, and then by day 3 it's all gone. But this was a week later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much so that I was reading stories about how because Denver's just used to doing the treatment, plowing that first day, and that's it. Because then the weather, nature just takes care of the rest of it.
Yeah.
People were complaining you need to fucking get back out there because all these side streets are just fucking ice skating rinks. Yeah. And then finally, that Monday, they did it. And it was all just going to be gone the next day anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, what did they say? They had...
I almost couldn't get out of my parking spot a week later because it was still there.
Solar-powered snow plowing. I think that's what they said it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that must have sucked.
Yeah, it was... It definitely wasn't...
I loved it.
I don't have a car to love it right now. It wasn't fun to lift in, that's for sure.
I could imagine.
Especially because a lot of times, little holes it basically felt like I was driving in a lot of potholes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Like 3 days later,
Yeah.
it sucked because the ice on the side streets just had random chunks missing.
Yeah.
So it was like driving across the worst roads in the nation, which I think might be Texas roads from what Paul was saying.
Probably. Yeah.
If not, I remember Michigan roads also being particularly shitty
Yes.
because of their freeze thaw cycle. So speak of the devil, there's Boyd. But
Yeah, so snow was around. And
Yeah.
all of the places I went had no snow, and it was quite nice weather-wise, like 40s and 50s.
Chicago had nice weather, huh?
Yeah, it was 50s, almost 60s there.
Wow.
Wide.
I thought this
Over
was like the
Thanksgiving.
time of year when Chicago's weather was just hot garbage.
It's up and down, but I had an upswing while I was there. So
Nice.
next month, though, real bad.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
it's what's
You're going
gonna
back
happen.
for Christmas, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
What else? There was something else that was exciting for me.
Thanksgiving happened.
Thanksgiving happened. I got to see family.
Would you describe that as exciting?
No, I would not describe that as exciting. I still had a good time. Jester loved it because it was big snowstorm, and so she got to run and play in the snow out of my grandparents' farm. So she just gets to run and run and run. She did not notice the coyote that I noticed on one of our evening walks. That was like, okay, walk over.
We're done here.
Not gonna let my dog go fight a coyote.
Nope, because there's probably more.
So we learned, because we started looking coyotes information up, it is very rare for more than 2 coyotes to travel together in like more open environments.
Okay.
That is not necessarily true for urban coyotes because human development and everything has forced them to pack up. And so packs of coyotes are forming in cities as results of human activity. But typically coyotes are solitary. Maybe a pair of them will hunt. They will occasionally come together, like coordinate for a big hunt. Like, one of them will, send up the coyote and yelp.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Exactly. Like guys, I just found this sweet cow over here, and all the other coyotes are like, you son of a bitch, we're in. And they'll convene to hunt.
Speaking of
big prey.
convening, there was a crazy amount of crows on my block when I came home today. like
A murder of crows?
creepy amount.
a creepy amount, like dozens of crows.
Doesn't sound like creepy. Like hundreds is creepy.
Yeah, I mean they weren't
You
like
say that,
dozens of dozens.
You say that, but have you seen dozens of crows together?
yeah, like
I feel like the threshold for creepiness is a lot lower than you think.
I mean, I feel like at a bare minimum, dozens implies to me at least 24 because that's the first time that it is multiple dozen.
Yeah.
I would say less than 100, but more than 50.
Okay, so then you're rapidly approaching full on creepy numbers. There.
Yeah. They were going at my neighbors' garden boxes in their front yard because how the snow had come, it was just warm, and then boof, there was still a bunch of plant there, and it probably had rotted and still had seeds and stuff in it, and they're really going after the remainder in those garden boxes. And then they were just all in the trees and
Fucking crows.
Yeah. They were really going after that golf course when they were reseeding that.
Oh, I bet.
That was hundreds of crows.
Yeah, that I can imagine.
Yeah.
But
When I was in Chicago, I went to the Pequods, and it was a many hour wait, and then the pizza was okay. It was not as good as the first time I had it.
Well, that's because it was busy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was probably and like the dough was ultra thick, and I don't remember it being like crazy thick like the last time.
It was like this,
it was still very.
It was like thick crust thick.
Yes.
So,
but this seemed over the top, and they didn't have like enough sauce, which was my favorite part.
Gotcha.
The toppings were still very good, but Pequods was okay. Then we went to Logan Arcade. Logan Arcade was great.
was this on your date?
Mandate, yes.
Your mandate?
Yeah, my mandate with BFF CJ.
Okay.
Who does our music, in case no one remembers. Windjammers. Windjammers is the arcade game I was playing at Logan Arcade, my favorite barcade in the country. It's like a fighting game, frisbee game, which I will not explain further, but it is very fun. It was from the Neo Geo. It was very expensive. It's on the PS4, and I liked it a lot. It almost makes me want to actually buy it so I can play it, but then I'd have no one to play with, and that's the best part about it.
Fair enough. Cool.
Yeah, that was basically my Chicago adventure.
Nice.
Besides Kingdom Death Monster.
Which we'll get to later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? Anything exciting happened for you in the last couple of weeks since
I
we've
sprained
been
my
gone?
ankle. That's about it.
Woo!
Yeah. It was during all that ice stuff, but it wasn't on ice. It was stepping on a mat that was just slightly taller than the ground around it.
Those fucking mats, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good times.
Oh yeah. So that's just healing. So that's about it for me. That, lift, work, podcast, etc.
Right on. Broncos lost. Really? No, they've won both. They've won both of the games since we were on air. Because the last time we spoke, they had lost. They'd blown the 20-point fucking lead against the Vikings, and I was gloom and doom. But they pulled the plug on the very brief. I've already forgotten his name. The guy we had in the middle.
Flacco?
No,
but
Flacco had been pulled, and then we had a different backup who won a game and then lost terribly, and then that dream crashed and burned. But then Drew Lock.
Was it like AB or BA or something like that?
Yeah, Brandon Allen. That's
go.
what it was. Because there was the week where 3 different quarterbacks with the last name Allen all won games.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah,
I know the Bears won against the Cowboys.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
My family was watching that. That's the only reason I really even saw that. They're all big football people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Broncos won a really close game against the Chargers. We were the ones. It was our turn to win a game with a last-second field goal. We've lost like 4 that way.
What are you, like,
We've
4-8 now, or?
Well, we are now 5-8. We have a chance to finish 8-8 if we win out. We're not going to.
You only have to play the Chiefs. So
that's our next game, and that's the reason we're not going to win out.
At the stadium
in Arrowhead. Yep. But yeah, so they narrowly beat the Chargers, which was cool because fuck the Chargers. But then, oh my God, Sunday against the Texans, we went to Houston. Houston was 8-4. They had just fresh come off a victory against the Patriots. They stomped the Patriots. Their defense looked amazing against Tom Brady. And Drew Lock lit them the fuck up. He became the first rookie in NFL history to throw for over 300 yards and 3 TDs in his first away game. It was amazing. It was great. I loved every minute of it. Our defense played really well. We had a fumble recovery for a touchdown where they obliterated a receiver and he fumbled. And then one guy picked it up and then he was about to get tackled. And he was like, oh, hey, other Bronco who's not getting tackled, have the football. And then that guy ran it all the way for a touchdown. It was great. So
was that a shuffle pass?
Well, no, it was a handoff.
Oh,
it was definitely for him in this situation. It was definitely a handoff, not a
Did you
shuttle
say it was
pass.
like a 3+ or like a 4+ handoff?
I do not know.
Did he have any tackle zones on him, or what would you think his agility stat would be? A 3? A regular human is 3.
I don't think he's quite a regular human. I'd say maybe
all the humans that play Blood Bowl are like fucking peak NFL. I mean, they're fighting goddamn minotaurs and shit. So, like,
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably a 3. I guess. Okay. Sure.
He's no elf agility.
Both of them are 3s.
He's no Lord of the Rings elf agility. So,
sure.
Yeah. He's no Legolas.
No, he indeed is not. He would struggle to ride a shield down a set of stairs while shooting arrows into orc faces. That would not work out well for him.
Which part would he struggle at?
Both. I can only assume. I mean, maybe he's a really good archer in his spare time. I don't know what his hobbies are.
Tomorrow we find a video of that happening, and he just like looks straight at the camera and he's just, "Fuck you, Adrian." And it's like, what
Fuck you.
So, yeah, it was great. Broncos won. So, I'm not wearing the Broncos hat because they're on a winning streak.
Because you didn't take a shower after you snowboarded all day.
I'm not taking a shower after snowboarding all day. My hair's a hot mess from my helmet.
Helmet head.
But yeah, so it was exciting.
Yeah.
What else? I got my new mini for the MHGG new campaign that starts in January.
Looks like a bird person.
Because he's a bird person.
Yeah. What's that, Osiris? Was that the bird Egyptian god?
Yeah.
I believe so.
It looked like Osiris to me, if I'm correct.
Cool.
In that.
I'll buy that. Jeff and I, we both got our Terraform Mars Turmoil expansions in, so we'll be hopefully trying that soon.
I like the player mats. I wish that game would have had those to start with.
From the fucking start.
Yeah.
It would have been great.
Yep.
But then I probably never would have gotten the broken token. And
the broken token is very nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
So that's why you're giving those to your friend, right? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I'm giving those to a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited. I liked a lot of the cards and stuff in it. Some of the new corps sound really cool. fair amount of the actual like.
Yeah, I haven't
cards in
even
the
looked
game.
through any of
Oh
that
man,
stuff yet.
there's some good ones. I was sharing them in the Slack channel, so
Gotcha.
people got a little bit of a taste.
Just the taste.
Just a taste.
I saw Stephen Bonacore walk by while I was in the middle of a demo. He looked exactly like how he looks in every other con I've seen him in the last 2 years. Red shirt, black pants.
This is correct.
That's his uniform, yeah.
I have never seen him wear anything else.
Yep. No, that's what he wore at BGG Con, so.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up all of my banter. I don't have a whole lot other than that stuff. So we can probably move on to some game stuff.
Sure.
That'd be good.
Yeah. All right. So Jeff, do you want to start with, because Jeff hasn't even remotely talked about PAX.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So before we start talking about specifically what we've been playing, we're
Okay.
shifting to board game talk.
Okay.
So Jeff can talk about PAX.
Okay.
Not necessarily, maybe some of what you've been played, but mostly
Yes.
just
Maybe
how
what-
was PAX.
Yeah.
Yes, PAX was good. It was like a mini Gen Con. It was...
How many people would you say?
I don't think PAX releases their numbers, but I would say over 20,000 people.
Okay.
That's a good amount of people.
I think they've estimated like 2 years ago it was like 17,000. So, I mean, it could be anywhere upwards of 30,000. It was a lot like Gen Con with a lot more space. So a lot of those smaller booths had a lot more room to expand. And most of my experience in PAX comes from just the expo hall with the vendor hall, because I didn't really spend much time doing literally anything else, because most of my day was working with Fantasy Flight and demoing games. So I had a little bit of time before and after to just kind of wander around and kind of look at things, but that was about it. Huge open gaming play area. I would say if you took the entirety of the expo hall at the Indianapolis Convention Center and you split half of it into like a vendor area and then the other half was games, that would be just that main room. And then they just had flooded the rest of the convention center with a whole bunch of different like event spaces, but it was harder to tell what was going on because they really only had that one big room. Where Gen Con has that like other huge room with a bunch of tables, and that's absolutely massive.
Okay.
So as someone that didn't really have any idea what PAX was, it was hard to find what to do.
Right. Just as a clarification, for last year, they had about 45,000 turnstiles, about 30,000 unique people. So.
Okay. So I would say that they have probably grown over 30,000 in this one.
Okay.
The Sunday actually felt the busiest day, and it felt more like a Gen Con with like crowds, but all their aisles are way bigger, so you never had like that huge crowding problem.
Okay, yeah. It's one of the problems with Gen Con. They cram so many vendors into that hall that like the aisles aren't nearly as wide as I would like them to be.
It is also just so even if they're wider, people would fill the space, so it wouldn't be.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
So that's how traffic works.
Yes, unfortunately.
And this con seems like it has a ton of room to grow. Like that expo hall can get even bigger. But it was nice it seemed like everyone had plenty of room to show off all their games in their booths. I went saw Mr. Tim Fowers and said hello to him. And he actually had room to demo games at his booth. And the Inhuman Conditions guys, the people who made Secret Hitler with their new game, they actually had at Gen Con, they had one little round, like 2-foot diameter table.
Yep.
In this, they had a whole booth, probably as big as this table, and then they just were able to do like one-on-one with. They had black curtains and stuff.
Oh, nice.
It was pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then Fantasy Flight had just like they had no store. It was just demos.
Right.
Which a lot of people were complaining and asking about, like, where can we buy your stuff? And because they had all their stuff at other vendors there.
Yeah.
They didn't really want to pack up like literally their whole library to bring and sell and set up a store.
Fair,
yeah, it was BGG was the same way.
Yeah.
So no, it makes sense.
So, but their demo area looked like their demo area. I got to see what the inside of those big rectangular banner things is. It's just empty space with coats and Subway sandwiches. There was a day, so came in Thursday. There was like a little meet and greet and pizza thing that they hosted at the hotel, the downtown Marriott, Philadelphia, which was actually connected to the convention center. So I technically never had to walk outside.
Nice.
There you go.
I did, but
but you didn't have to. It was a choice.
The only real complaint I have about it is like their system is so streamlined and easy that you need like no human interaction to work for them. Like, I put in the application and I showed up. I got my badge. I showed up and started doing demos. And I probably talked to somebody that worked at Fantasy Flight for like less than a minute until like on a Saturday when I was waiting around for like someone to show up. So it was very impersonable. I don't know the exact word.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like I was working for anyone. It was just sort of like I'm working for this company and like I haven't even talked to anyone that works there, and I like knowing who the hell is running it and stuff like that. And,
that's totally fair.
And I got like very little of that. But they were also very busy, so
yeah, I get that too.
Yeah. Hung out with Jake from Draft Mechanic and Danielle, also from Draft Mechanic. A bunch. That's basically who I hung out with the whole time. I saw Gates from Leader Games, Matt from Gray Fox. I met Henry, the creator of Parks. Went to this really cool board game cafe, something in Rooks. I'd have to look it up because I don't have it in front of me. They just opened up in the last couple months. I met Eric Bushimi, not Bushimi. Is it Bushimi?
Eric Bushimi?
Yeah. Punchboard Media fame.
Yes, indeed.
Met him for the first time. Super cool guy. He's from New York, so this convention was very easy for him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just sort of hung out with a bunch of people and didn't play many games, except the ones I was demoing. But then went out and had a bunch of beer. Went to Iron Hill Brewing. They have some very good beer. And some very expensive food that I would not recommend. It's good, but fuck. I don't want to pay over $12 for 2 small Philly cheesesteak egg rolls.
Why not?
Because they were good, but they were very expensive.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, we did go to Chinatown, which is right next to the hotel. It's like a 5-minute walk, and had some amazing dim sum.
Nice.
And we ate...
I saw photos from it. I was
Did you have
pretty
any
jealous.
chicken feet?
No, we didn't get anything too crazy. No, we didn't really get anything crazy at all, actually. But it was very delicious and cheap. Like, we had all of that for less than $14 a person.
Yep, that sounds right. That's dim sum for you.
Roughly half the cost of...
Some Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
And there's a bunch of more pack stuff, but,
We'll talk about that in what we're playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a fuckload of game stuff.
Similar to when Zach went to BGG.
Yeah.
Try to keep it under 5 minutes.
It's probably a quarter of what Zach played, but I definitely played probably more games than Zach did.
More plays, fewer games.
Yes.
Yeah, that tracks.
Like you said, you've got like the first 3 moves of Starfarers just
I know
down.
exactly what I need to do at the beginning of Starfarers, no matter what. The meta has been made.
Right on.
Oh, pins. Holy fuck pins.
Holy fuck pins.
Penny Arcade Expos have some ultra diamond hard-on for pins.
Uh-huh.
Everyone fucking loves pins.
I saw the root ones that you showed.
Yeah, the pins are cool, but man, there's like a massive
They just really like them.
It's all over the place. Like Fantasy Flight had multiple demos that were handing out pins, and there was lines of 25, 30 people at all times waiting to get demos of Keyforge just to get a Keyforge pin. It was mind-boggling as someone from outside the pin world.
The mind reels.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel about people with the stupid bobbleheads that everybody's so obsessed with.
Funko Pops?
The Funko Pops. The fuck? When did those, like, out of nowhere, everybody's obsessed with Funko
Don't
Pops?
talk shit about Funko Pops. They're the only reason comic book stores can even stay in business anymore.
I mean,
yeah.
So yeah, pins. That was a new experience.
Okay.
Something that I had not seen before. And it was a much more casual crowd. Like Gray Fox didn't even bother to demo Reavers there. They were doing their new
Draw
one,
your own conclusions.
Draw your own conclusions, and that one was flying off the shelf because it's a much more casual crowd.
Yeah.
That's what I've.
I guess that tracks.
Yeah.
A lot more like video gamers who aren't like hardcore board gamers and then
Yeah.
just like general comic, like PAX type people.
Yes, they have that crowd built in already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why Fantasy Flight didn't bring a lot of their big games. I think the biggest one I noticed was the Star Wars Outer Rim.
Oh, gotcha.
That was kind of like the biggest one.
Okay.
Even table space wise, besides like the Catan Starfarers.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Next.
All right. Well, then let's move on to what we've been playing. Everybody's favorite part of the show, or at least my favorite part of the show. We will start with 2 different streams because it has been 2 weeks since we did a podcast, but we did record 2 live play streams.
Yes, we did.
So on Black Friday, while everybody else was going mad about online shopping and in-person shopping, and while Jeff was in Chicago,
I bought 4 pairs of pants online.
There
good
you go.
for you.
Yeah.
It's like $50. I needed new jeans. I bought 4 pairs of new jeans for less than $50.
I managed to not buy anything Thanksgiving weekend, and I feel pretty good about that.
And then I bought Days Gone for $20 because I wanted to try the motorcycle zombie game.
Gotcha.
And I wasn't going to pay $60 for
Yeah,
it.
that's what
Don't blame you there.
I've heard it's not worth it.
But $20 might be worth it.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not 60.
Anyhow, Black Friday, Zach was joined by Wes from Mile High Dungeon Delvers, and the 3 of us streamed Arkham Horror 3rd edition.
Yep.
I don't remember the nightmare of a name of the nightmare that we faced.
Yeah.
The great one who tried to wreck our faces. He started eating our entire city, which was a pretty cool little thing to happen. But most importantly, we fucking won. Which I have not done in anything even remotely Eldritch themed in a long time. So that was really sweet. I was a like stabby girl who had some like cool spell ability where I could like do a spell just fucking anywhere, which is pretty powerful. I don't remember what either you or Wes was. I've forgotten everything in the like 2.5 weeks.
You did the new expansion, I assumed.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Dead
Yeah.
of Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was either. So.
What, do you remember the ancient one? Was that the
That's-
lizard one?
No.
No, that's the Mansions of Madness new expansion. Is the
Yeah.
lizard thing.
No, he was some big gibbering mass of flesh and horror, which I realized describes every single
Yeah.
Eldritch god
All right.
in the entire
Can you
Arkham
thin
universe.
it down a little more?
Like something like Yogg-Sothoth or something.
No.
It wasn't. It was something like that. There was a Y in there somewhere.
Trying to bring up the rule book, but
Yeah, I'm afraid to bring up like the back end of Twitch to like see because the stream should still be there. But I'm certain it'll start playing music.
The Silence of Sothaga or something like that.
Sothoth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Sothagua.
Gua. Yeah.
Sothagua.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was cultists, of course, running around trying to summon this creature, and like at one point we ended up with like 3 different colored tokens that we had to like go spend a couple clues to like unveil, and once you found the correct 2 of the 3, you could start like actually interfering with it a little bit. Which we did right before it showed up. So like it showed up almost immediately after we found the 2 tokens.
Yeah.
And then it just begins eating your board as it moves, and everything on the tile is just lost if it eats the tile you're on.
Yeah. If it eats the tile you're on and you're not engaged with it.
Yeah.
Because if you're engaged, you sort of just go along with it.
You're
But
just on this giant
Yeah.
mass of flesh that is eating the entire town of Arkham.
I was a researcher. I remember that.
That's
And
right.
And I was blessed. And I
Like
was
the entire game.
Oh, it was
almost.
great. It was amazing. I got blessed again, even though I couldn't do it. I couldn't be super blessed.
Right.
That's what one thing I do sort of miss from Eldritch is that it had that thing of like, oh, you're blessed. Here's your super blessing.
Yeah. But yeah, most importantly, we managed to win. We didn't win from doing damage to it. We won through a different condition, but I don't remember what it was.
Basically, we had to research how to get rid of it and like use tokens to get stuff. And that's what I was doing. I was doing it while it was coming. You were attacking it. So in case my thing didn't kill it, you were going to hopefully be able to kill it before it got to us.
Yeah, because I was on basically what would have been the last tile to be devoured. And I was just slamming it with attacks. Because again, I could attack anywhere with my spell. But it was good. It was nice. It was actually nice playing Arkham Horror 3rd. It's definitely my favorite of all of the like Arkham Files games. Mansions of Madness 2nd edition is also really good.
Yes.
But aside from those 2, I haven't super been into it. I like the deck builder the one time I played it, and I kind of want to try it more, but also I know I don't
The
have the time
LCG?
for it. Yeah. Because you make a deck, but it's not
deck
your
construction.
The LCG.
And the entry level is so high now.
Yes.
Well, luckily, I mean, I have people around me who have everything, so I don't need to buy everything.
And it's cooperative, and it's not like you can play it at your own pace.
Exactly.
So
But still, like, I just don't have time in my schedule to add Arkham LCG in right now.
Understandable. So. I get your thought.
But yeah, so that was our Black Friday stream. And then this most recent Friday, we streamed a 4-player game of Pret with Paul and Leander. And it went really well. Paul on stream in the chat immediately not immediately, but like mid to late game, offered his copy for sale without ever actually punching it or anything. So if anybody wants a unpunched copy of Pret that has been opened, it's no longer in shrink, but an unpunched copy of Pret, speak to Paul. But it was a good game overall. Paul ended up.
But apparently, it's still in shrink.
Oh, it actually. Okay, he lied. When at the table, he didn't think it was still in shrink. He thought he'd at least taken it out of shrink.
I see.
But yeah, so he ended up winning. It was another case of the 2 different games in the stream. Zach and Paul were like 500 and something, and Leander and I think we got to 300.
No, so I was 438, and he ended up being, after he adjusted his score to the correct score, to 444.
Yeah.
So it was 6 points difference.
Yeah. Whereas Leander and I were exactly a point apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got not
tale
last
of 2
by
games.
1 point.
Yes.
As is MHGG tradition.
Indeed. But yeah. I really like Pret. I want to play it some more. Paul is though definitely done with it. So
there were things I liked, but there was a lot of stuff I didn't like, and just fucking Ignacy, man. Like his rule books, like that was part of the problem for me, at least. Is that
I guess I didn't realize it was an Ignacy game.
Yeah, it's a Portal Games game.
Is like Lance let us borrow his almanac thing that you print off to help explain shit.
It's so fucking important to have that, because it answers a lot of questions. Like there are cards where like if you read the card the way it's written, that's not the way the card should be played.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah. But so that was our Pret stream. Other than that, I haven't really played much. At game night I played the most recent game night I played Pret with you, Zach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just for clarification, we had one at Game Lounge and then D-Bolt, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so I know which games I played.
Fair enough. I was not at Game Lounge because I was at my grandparents' house, which I did play some games there that I'll briefly touch on.
Yeah, and I wasn't there either.
No, because you were in Chicago.
Yep.
But at D-Bolt, this most recent Wednesday, we did a 2-player game of Pret in preparation for the stream. But more importantly, I played a 3-player game of Bus with Paul and Chris Evans. And so Bus, for those of you who aren't aware, is an old Splotter game. It's just had its 20th anniversary reprint.
I saw that at PAX as well.
Yeah,
I didn't see the other
with Capstone.
Yeah, I didn't see the other side, but I saw they weren't demoing that side weirdly.
Yeah.
It looks so bad.
I've heard from a lot of people that even people who like the way it looks, they're like, it's just not nearly as functional as the new side. Like, the new side's better. So, but I liked it. I am going to be careful who I play this one with. It is definitely so far the meanest of the Splotters I've played. And, to put it politely, there are people I don't like playing overly mean games with. And my concern with Bus is that the people I do like playing mean type games with won't actually like Bus. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I did like the game. It's a incredibly simple game. Like a lot of theirs, the actual game itself is fairly simple. What you can do in the game is complicated. But it played I think we played the 3-player game with me learning and multiple times where Paul got up to go tell Lance he was playing wrong the last time they played. We still finished in less than an hour.
Yeah, I've heard it's very, very short.
Yeah, so a Splotter that you can play in game night in less than an hour, I mean, that's pretty great in my book. Yeah. So I definitely want to get myself a copy of Bus, if for no other reason than I'm just going to ultimately end up owning all of the Splotters. Mm-hmm. It's just a thing that I know is going to happen, so I'm just going to embrace it.
Have they all been put back in print?
Isn't there Greed Ink or something like that?
Yeah, there's Greed Ink. Roads and Boats has not been reprinted.
But it's going to be.
It's going to be.
That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking they have been at least announced to be reprinted.
I don't think Greed Ink has not yet. Yeah.
And I know that's
also considered a really good one.
Yeah.
I think that might be Sid's favorite. And then Duck Dealer. Duck Dealer's another one of theirs.
Duck Dynasty is a different thing, Paul.
It is not Duck Dynasty. It is Duck Dealer. Duck Dealer might be their first game. It's very old as well. I doubt we'll see Duck Dealer ever reprinted. I'll be surprised. But yeah, so I really enjoyed that. Those are the 2 games I played at game night. I didn't really play anything else there. I almost played Taverns of Tiefenthal, but then
which Zach owns.
Yeah,
now?
because they were setting up to play, and I thought Paul just wasn't coming at all, so I thought Bus was off the table, and I was like, well, I guess I'll play this with you, Zach, and then we can play Pret afterwards. And then Paul was like, no, I am coming, and yes, I will still play Bus. And I was like, okay, never mind, I'm going to go play Bus.
Duck Dealer was in 2008, it looks like, so.
Oh, not nearly as old as I thought it was.
No. Also, not rated that great? I don't know. But yeah, comparatively.
I mean, a lot of their games are so niche that they're just not,
exactly.
Like, they're not ranked.
Cameleo is 1998. That's an older one from them. I don't know what that is.
I know that's not one that is like
well regarded.
Considered part of like the real like Splatter games.
Giraffe from 1997.
Yeah. Apparently they did a lot of weird shit way back in the day. That's not like
Splatter being weird.
Hey, Cameleo has an average weight of 0.
There you go. Anyway, and then while I was out at Thanksgiving, I did play a few games that I'll blast through real quick here because I'd completely forgotten about these. So I played Just One with my family. Huge fucking hit. That's a great game to play with your family around the table. My favorite moment from it was when my super fundamentalist Christian grandfather, we were playing where you just like, you drew your card and then you put it down and then you just set a number 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have a die.
That works. It's
one.
Still random enough for that.
Yeah.
So.
And so he chose on his beer. And the whole fucking table all just started laughing. Like, yeah, you would choose that. And then we all managed to do beer with 7 people without a single like overlap. And in such a way that he got it, like, I mean, he knows beer stuff. Like, he's not so out of the loop that he doesn't understand beer. Mm-hmm. But like, there were like 3 beer brand names without any overlap. There was a Corona, a Coors, and then I think PBR maybe. I don't remember what the other one was. I did fermented. Somebody else did carbonation. It was great. Great round of clues. Yeah, so highly recommend Just One for family gathering type things. Megan and I played the Watergate, 2-player game of Watergate. Mm-hmm. I really, really liked it. Megan seemed more lukewarm. As much as I tried to get her to play it multiple other times while we were at Thanksgiving, she did not.
Was it the theme or the gameplay or the? Okay.
I don't really know. Okay. We didn't really like talk in depth about.
You just got to drill down, man.
Like, I mean, sometimes we do like really
submit a 10 page paper on why she didn't and all the reasons and all that shit.
I'll get that from her. I'll have her start working on that stat. But I really liked it. I thought it was a really good game. I played as Nixon and I very, 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 very narrowly won. Like it was basically I won and then the next turn Megan probably would have won. But it in the rules is like the first person to hit their victory condition, game ends immediately. So Nixon got away with it. He's not a crook in my Watergate universe.
Great.
In your Watchmen universe?
Watergate universe. Oh.
He's also not, not neither.
Yeah. But and then the other thing, Megan and I played 2 games of Tapestry at 2 players. And I think I'm done with Tapestry. I still might give it a shot at more player count, but 2 players especially, I don't like it. Even with so we did the one game just 2 players straight, and then we did the other game with the Shadow Nation. Yeah, the Shadow Nation is goddamn useless.
Have you ever tried using the Automa as the 3rd player?
I did not, because the rules didn't mention anything about that, and we didn't get that far. The rules specifically mention the Shadow player being like a 3rd player. But it's not in any. It's on the 4 tracks and it advances along them very randomly and arbitrarily. And as Megan even admitted, it fucked me real hard. Like the track I was going on, it just spammed through random chance draws. It spammed that and took all of the awards off of it. So it's kind of like what I did to you, Jeff.
Yeah.
When I was the futurist, I was like, oh yeah, all of these late game towers are now mine.
Yep.
The first game, Megan she liked the game, but didn't enjoy the play because it was late and she didn't realize what she was getting into because I did a bad job of explaining exactly the kind of game it was. Then the second game we played with the Shadow Empire, she liked more, but she felt that the randomness was going to be too much for her from like the Tapestry card because she had the same thing that other people have had where I got really great Tapestry cards and almost smoked her. I started letting up because like her first play had been so bad and I wanted her to kind of like it. So I kind of like did slightly less than optimal moves in a couple spots, which was a mistake. And I should know better than to ever take it easy on Megan, because then she crawled back and beat me by like 80 points. But there for a little bit, I was super smoking her, and it was largely because I was getting way better Tapestry cards, and she was getting hot fucking garbage.
Yeah.
She, at one point, had to actually play a trap card as her Tapestry card for like 10 points, which is fucking worthless.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I see a fun game in there, but I just think that I don't know if it's, especially as a 2-player game, it does not work. I think as a 3-player game, it works pretty good. And then I think as a 5-player game, maybe 6 if they ever do an expansion. But I think 2 and 4 are its weak points.
Yeah, I saw an insert. I think Meeple Realty was releasing one, and I think they made little bases for the landmark buildings.
Oh, that'd be good.
That would be handy.
I think so.
Especially if they were color matched. Jesus Christ.
I think they were. I didn't take a real close look at it, but I think there is an insert out there for it that has bases for those.
I wouldn't be surprised if like somebody made a 3D thing, like
a printed thing.
Yeah, 3D printed one.
We'll get Paul on that.
Probably not.
But yeah, so yeah, that was what I played. I also played some El Dorado, which went over really well with my family that I played it with. But we've talked about El Dorado. We've streamed El Dorado. Nothing really going there
recently.
Yeah. So what about you, Zach?
I'll just go over a couple things. 2 weeks ago, I played Star Wars Outer Rim. I played that 4-player, which I will not be playing at 4-player in any future plays because it's definitely too long for that game.
Fair enough.
But it's it's just a pick up, deliver sort of thing. You can just get cargo, take it around the galaxy, or you can go and hunt bounties and then try and capture them, or you could just kill them to get the bounty for it.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
And one thing that's interesting is that you can get bounties for people's crew members, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm coming for you, Adrian, because you got my bounty. And then it's like, oh, god damn it. And you could even shoot, because when a bounty hunter attacks that player or that character, you can either be like, no, just the character versus you, or you can choose to defend the character, in which case you're taking the damage and you're dealing the damage instead. And what happened basically for this one is you're rolling dice for it, but however much damage you do and how much damage I do, we just do that much to each other. It's not like a net or anything. So if I do 3 and you do 3, we just both take 3 damage. But what happened is basically we just kept stunning each other, or whatever it's called in that game, of just like doing enough damage to make you be delayed for half a turn. So he kept attacking me, and I kept attacking him. Or I kept defending against him, and so we would both end up be stunned, and then I couldn't get up and then leave because I was stunned. And so it took like 4 turns before I was able to do damage to him without him wounding me enough to hurt me, and then that let me just fucking leave. And then Wes was just like, fuck it, that's not even worth it.
Great.
Yeah. It was fun. I mean, I haven't played Firefly at all, so I don't know how well it compares to that. It took us about like 2.5 hours, I think, but that was with everybody except for Wes being new at the game, right? And I had watched a playthrough of it, but still,
right,
there's still some questions. It felt like being a bounty hunter was a lot easier than handling cargo, and so we played the shorter game, so maybe cargo's like more of a late game one. I don't know. But I would still definitely play it again, but I would play it at 3 players max.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right on.
And then this past week, I played Taverns of...
Tiefenthal?
Yeah, Tiefenthal. Again, yes.
There's an R in there?
Tiefenthal. Sorry, Tiefenthal.
Okay.
Yeah. And anyway, played that again. Actually got a lot more upgrades this time throughout the game. I still have only played it with the first 3 modules. So I guess technically the game and then the 2 modules you can add onto it. There's still 2 more to go on top of that adds basically a unique starting position of like you start with these cards or with these upgrades or stuff like that, and then also this sign book, a guest book, I think is what they call it, for any time you hire or you get new guests to your tavern, then you get to take these. They basically sign the book and they go in certain slots depending on how much they were and stuff like that. And it's supposed to, from what it seems like that's the way they play the game. So I think on Wednesday I'll probably try it that way. Still enjoy it. I think I ended up winning on that one. So
Yeah, I'd like to try it. It looked interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like it's got a lot of dice chucky, but it's like a dice draft thing that I think was kind of interesting from what I was watching.
Yeah.
And
it feels like for the most part, you're just like you're usually going to draft something that'll help you versus something that'll fuck somebody else over.
Right.
But there are definitely moments of like both these dice do the exact same for me. Then whichever one I'm going to take is the one that's going to hurt you more.
Right.
So, and Lance wasn't paying attention to what I needed, and that led me actually get like 15 points in the game.
In the first like 10 minutes that I watched while like I was reading the Pret book and waiting for Paul to show up to play Bus, I saw Lance make like a couple mistakes like that. Yeah. Where it's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you like, he took a 5 when he had already gotten a 5. Like he had like a card that let him roll his own.
Yeah.
And he got a 5 on that, and then he drafted a 5 and was like, you don't need 2 5s. What are you doing? Like, take that 3. Take the 3, Lance. Take the 3. So I want to try it.
Yeah. I enjoy it.
Cool. All right. Anything else for you, Zach?
I don't remember, so we'll say no.
Okay. Jeff, sky's the limit for you.
So first up, Philadelphia sucks. It was okay. It was the worst driving I've seen in my life.
But it's the city of brotherly love. I think everybody would be very courteous.
It was the most honking I've ever heard. Like I took a nap as soon as I landed for a couple hours before the get together thing. I was 14 stories up, technically on the 13th floor, because I was on the 14th floor.
Yeah.
And just constant fucking honking at all times. Like, they're definitely one of those places where, like, the light is green, and if you haven't already been rolling, they are honking at you. Not that I ever had to drive there, but I was very cautious going across any streets, because it was just a fucking nightmare that whole time. And the streets are ultra tiny.
Yeah, I mean, that's all those big East Coast cities, because they were pre-vehicles, like pre-cars.
Yeah.
I guess they had other vehicles.
Yeah, it'd be like 2 sides of parking and then just like one way down the middle. Like a couple streets in Denver are.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Cap Hill. But that was like most of the south side of the city.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Let me guess, the streets aren't straight there either.
No, they're pretty straight.
Really?
Yeah.
Because like that was the thing that like fucking hated about when I was in Boston is like
Boston is legendary for having just garbage street planning.
Yeah.
Because Boston is older, I think, than they're probably about the same. But the street planning in Philadelphia was much better. Or they burned the whole thing down and rebuilt it.
I mean, that also may have happened.
Yeah. I wanted to do some exploring on Monday, but it was just pouring rain the whole time, so didn't get much of that. And I had a Philly cheesesteak, and it was okay. It wasn't like, you can just get a cheesesteak here. It's probably about the same thing.
Yeah, Philly cheesesteaks are not one of those. Like, there's some food that I've had that's like a regional food that I've had not in that region where I'm like, okay, this was okay, but I could see how it could be better, like where it originated from. I've never felt that way about a Philly cheesesteak.
I'd rather have gone to like a pizza place and gotten some vaguely New York East Coast pizza.
Sure.
Yeah.
Boston's older, by the way. Sorry.
Okay.
Just wanted to.
I mean, it definitely is, but like by how much?
1630 to 1682.
Okay.
Almost 50 years. That actually surprises me.
Yeah.
But that's settled and then also founded versus like incorporated. So
yeah.
But Philadelphia was incorporated in 1701, but Boston was incorporated in 1822. So
all right.
Well, Philly was on top of that incorporation.
Philadelphia was the original United States capital.
Yes.
Yes. So okay.
Games.
First thing, when I picked up my badge, they had some open gaming for, it was like an Asmodee like private thing.
Okay.
But they sort of just handed your badge and were like, I don't know, just fucking play games with all these strangers. And I was just like, okay. And I didn't know who worked there or were demoing or whatever, but someone was setting up Starfarers, not Seafarers. But it is a little like Seafarers.
Okay.
So I played Catan Starfarers, the brand new Catan from 1999.
Yep.
Yeah. The new version of it, the reprint.
Yeah. Not reprint.
The full new version.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much they changed the actual mechanics.
I played with one of the developers on the new version, and so he sort of explained kind of some of the differences. If you don't know what Catan Starfarers is, because you haven't played it in the last 20 years, and it was impossible to get anyways, you have a similarly pre-set up Catan thing at the bottom. There's 4 tiles with 3 planets each. Each of them has 3 colonies, which are like settlements. And then that's how you get like your starter resources. So it already starts you with 3 settlements that you're getting resources off of. And the whole point of this is that you already have your starter area, and now you're going off into all these other star systems further in the galaxy and meeting alien races and things like that. Because
does everyone have their own start?
Yeah, so it's 4 planets, and then you snake draft 4 locations in between all these until everyone has their settlements in.
But they're all on those set ones. It's not like everybody starts with the 4 planets, and then you're building into the center together.
So there's 12 planets. Each tile has 3 on it. But they're all the way back. And then you upgrade one to a starport, which is not quite like a city. It still only gets you 1 resource, but you can build from it. But you only can build from this way far back lane, and the galaxy map is quite a few spaces to get to the end. And then there's like a little wavy, like Milky Way sort of thing in the middle of the board. And then there's all the planets you can't see the numbers on. Breathing. All the planets you can't see the numbers on until you get adjacent to it, and then it will flip over what those probabilities are, or if it's an ice planet or a pirate planet. And then further on, there is like filled in ones that will have better probabilities on them. And then there's alien races that you can trade with that will give you development cards, which will give you upgrades for trading to do like 2-to-1 and 1-to-1 for certain resources, or +1 to resource production in a certain type, like cities.
Okay.
Because there's 2 different types of ships: colony ship, trade ship. The trade ship has to go to the alien races, and the colony ship, you just go to, colonize and get, more resources, just like you would sell on new tiles in Catan. But they're, star systems.
Okay.
The real hook of the game is your mothership. It's this big plastic rocket ship. It looks like that rocket ship from Forbidden Sky.
Okay.
But it's modular, so it has all of these little orange rocket boosters, red cargo pods, freight pods, and blue cannons. And you actually slot them in like Mr. Potato Head onto your mothership. The boosters will give you +1 movement on your rocket ship per, and you can have room for 6 of these. The trade pods will let you trade with aliens. You only need 1 trade pod for the first slot. Every alien station has 5, though. So if 1's there, now you need 2 freight pods to go back there, or 3 freight pods, or just +1 to however many trade stations someone has dropped off there. And then cannons are used to fight pirates and various encounter cards that come up in the game, because it has like a little, it's hollow inside. It has these little colored balls, 5 different colored balls in there, 1 black, 2 yellow, 1 blue, and 1 red. So you shake it, and then you look at the 2 balls that come out of the bottom, and like most things. And
yep.
Then you just then you see what color they are, and that's what speed they are. Like blue was 1, yellow is 2, and red is 3. Black is 0, but if you ever get black, your speed is 3, and you get an encounter card. The person to your left reads off your encounter card. It's like I've demoed this a lot.
We're getting like every single rule in the game.
I've got it down to like a 5-minute spiel. So, the encounter card is like fighting pirates, meeting merchants, meeting the travelers that let you teleport across the board. And the person to your left reads it, and it's usually like yes, no. It's like, you've met pirates. Do you try to escape? Yes or no. Then, like, if you try and escape, you have to compare your boosters to a player to your left, your right, double left, double right. So depending on what other people's upgrades are, there's a little bit of interaction there.
Okay.
And then you'll roll and see what your speed is versus theirs, whether you get escape or not. If you don't escape, you have to fight, and then you match cannons, and then you'll do your little die roll with the balls that way. That's pretty much Starfarers Catan.
Okay.
It was hard for everyone to understand.
What triggers the end of the game?
Do you know?
One of the coolest parts that they've done in this that not a lot of other Catan games have. It goes to 15 victory points. I think regular Catan is 10.
Yes.
Okay. So you start with 4 because you start with 3 settlements and a starport. Starport's worth 2. Settlements are worth 1 each, or colonies, whatever.
Yeah.
For 4, 5, 6, and 7. For 4, 5, 6, and 7 victory points, At the start of your turn, after you've rolled for income, you get 2 free random resources. There's a deck of 8 of each resource of the 5, and you just get 2 at the beginning of each person's turn. They'll get an extra 2 resources, so you're really getting a lot faster at the beginning of the game. But at 8 and 9 victory points, you're only getting 1 free resource card. And then once you get to the end game where you're like 10 plus victory points, you're getting no free resources. So it is a bit of a catch-up mechanic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so you're not getting boned by your numbers not getting rolled because you're still getting 2 free resources every time.
Okay. And somebody who races out because their number is getting rolled stops getting those free resources, and in theory that kind of balances out.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then there's no real robber, but if you roll a 7, the person that rolled it gets to steal 1 resource of their from a random resource from a player's hand. But everyone that didn't roll gets 1 free random resource. So everyone's still getting something on a 7.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then that person gets the 2 free resources for the beginning of their turn. The trade stuff was cool with the alien races, but that's kind of like a mid-late game thing, so it didn't really come up in the demo very much because they're really far away on the board, and it's hard to get to them.
Okay.
It seemed neat. The mothership was super cool and how that mechanic works. It seemed like everyone really loved it. The game is just really expensive. It's $100.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How much was the Game of Thrones one?
$76, somewhere in there. I remember it being kind of like a weird, like $73.99 or $76.99, something like that.
Gotcha. Does it look like it's quote unquote worth it?
It would be a version of Catan that I would like. It is more of a thematic Catan than it is like anything like people that came to demo it were like, I don't really like Catan. I was like, this is a very different Catan. It's more thematic. And they came out of it saying like, yeah, I definitely want to get this. It didn't have all that stuff that I hated in Catan. There's not really any blocking or anything like that. There's no space roads or things like that.
Yeah, there are no roads in space, Adrian. Come on.
But you can get to
space tunnels.
But on those 3 planets, there's only 3 spaces you can colonize in between them. You have to colonize exactly between the 2 planets. You can't just colonize on like an edge of one. So there's only ever 2 or 3 spaces. And sometimes there's a pirate base that you have to shoot with cannons and get a victory point, or have enough freight pods to terraform a ice planet and get a victory point to even get those planets.
Sounds like for me it's going to be a try before I buy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For $100, I wouldn't recommend it, but I would assume most sites will have, the wonderful 15 to 20% online discount on it, which might make it a little more reasonable.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Cool. What else?
So actually before I left, I played a game that I would be demoing at PAX that I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement with that they sent me.
Is that NDA over now?
It is, because it is like well-known public information because we actually demoed it at PAX.
Okay.
But I played the fuck out of Fallout Shelter, which we had just talked about like the week before Thanksgiving that just got announced.
Yeah.
It is, and we were talking about like, oh, I hope it's a lot better than that last Fallout game. It is.
Which we still haven't played.
Yes. Probably might not.
Yeah. The new Fallout Shelter is a worker placement resource management game. So you start with 2 workers, and you have a vault like Fallout Shelter, the app. There will be rooms that provide power, water, and food, and then another set of rooms that let you upgrade a character in an ability. If you're familiar with Fallout, it has the special system, strength, perception, etc. Then it has like get the first player token, find new dwellers, and then find items. The items are very straight from the app. They're like pets and outfits and weapons, etc. And the whole game is about getting happiness. Because the overseer's dead and your different officers, now each officer runs a level in the vault and is trying to build out, get happiness, and whoever has the most happiness then wins. But your elevator is the only spot that only your guys can go to. That's your build spot. So even if you build a vault room on your level, other players can use it, but you get a free resource. And it's just sort of getting resources to spend on rooms. Those rooms are just better versions of kind of like the starter room. So more power, more food, more water, or a combination of food and water if you have Nuka-Cola. But the cool thing with the character upgrades, the special system at the top, so you put them on that upgrade spot. They don't do anything this turn, but when they pull back, they'll pull back into whatever that stat is. So then they'll become trained in strength. And in the starter area, strength will be for power, because there's like little circles underneath, like worker placement spots, but they will have the letters of those special stats. You can go there without it, but if you go there with someone that's trained, they get double the reward. Okay. So you'll get 4 power instead of 2 power.
Sure.
Or if you go to the living quarters with 2 vault dwellers, they will make a 3rd vault dweller, and that's how you get extra actions.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Yes. But if you go with a charisma person there, you get twins, and you get 2 of them. Yeah.
Whoa.
And there will be outfit items that let you just like exhaust to
have a baby?
To train someone in a specific letter.
Okay.
But then there's threats. So the vault goes from 2 to 12. It technically goes 1 to 13, but you roll 2d6. And that's how you spawn threats. So there'll be like the rad scorpions, death claws, ghouls, etc. And you roll for each level that has rooms in it and spawn one of those threats. And it'll just have a worker placement spot on there, but you have to roll to fight it. The rolls are 5 through 9. And the weapons modify, like you get rerolls, you get +1, +2, +3, stuff like that.
Okay.
It played a little long. It played like 90 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. With 4 players.
Oh, gotcha.
But it was an enjoyable 90 minutes. It was probably the Starfarers. I really enjoyed demoing Starfarers at PAX, but Fallout Shelter was a close second for the demo enjoyment. But I was surrounded by a fucking pin line the whole time, so no one actually got to see the game. And then I played a lot of Arkham Horror Final Hour, which came out at Gen Con, and I think we've talked about before.
Yes.
It was a little difficult explaining it to some people that have played Arkham games before, because it didn't use really much mechanic-wise from any of the previous Arkham games, except these square cardboard tiles are monsters. But that one was fun. Almost no one won, but it was nice seeing the people kind of come out of it being like, oh yeah, this is kind of a different version of Arkham. But I think I kind of want to try a little bit harder versions of that, but it seems like it's already pretty hard. So yeah, that's what I demoed. Then we did like a post-PAX relax party on Sunday with Danielle and Jake from Draft Mechanic. Met a bunch of people there. We played some Carcassonne, which I had not played in a million billion years, and also never played with the River expansion.
I really like the River expansion.
Yeah, I just needed to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Was the problem. The farmland went crazy. Like one farmland touched like literally every city in the whole game.
I bet.
And Danielle's real good at that game. It's also both of their like favorite games.
Okay.
So they crushed me. So I just kind of fucked with Jake the whole time and would build next to some of his.
No wonder Danielle won.
Well, there wasn't anything I could do, but it was easier for me to try and build into his cities from like a side than it was for me to try and get into like farmland with the pieces I was getting.
Right. Okay.
So we kept scoring like really crazy big cities, which was fun. Then we played some Matryoshka, which is kind of like a set collection bidding game, because you put there's like 7 sets in a 4-player game, and you're trying to get runs of certain colors or certain numbers.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up getting like a full set of like 1 to 7 and a couple other ones in there. But you put like a card down and you put down another card based on which ones they have down to what you think that how much you want that card versus giving them a card that they would want. Then we played some Quacks of Quedlinburg. I think I had my best game yet of Quacks. It was a 4-player game. I went around the corner of the scoring,
nice.
Which I hadn't seen for myself in a long time. Jake ended up winning, barely, but I think at that point there was literally nothing anyone could do to catch him, even though I was only like 6 points behind him, but at most I could close like 3 points in there or something like that. But
Yeah, there's not much you can do to stop somebody if they're picking hot.
Yep.
One of the reasons I have not had a strong desire to play.
Yeah, it's definitely not a game for you. It's not at all. Played some Welcome to, which I had not played in a very long time. So I kept asking, I was like, this one does this thing, right? And they're like, yes. And I was like, this one does this thing, right? And they're like, yeah, almost. It was the one where it was the BIS where you write the number, but then you write another number next to one that you would want to duplicate.
Yeah.
That was I was thinking that you had to duplicate the number that was next to the BIS, but that's also the most complicated one of that.
It is
of
the
that whole thing.
Yeah. What did you think of that game after playing Cartographers? Do you still feel?
They're different enough that they can both exist.
Okay.
Because one is more like the more strategic number placement on there, with the Cartographers being a flip and fill of sort of just trying to put those puzzle pieces in a generally fine area. If those objective cards were different in Cartographers, like where you needed to have like certain shapes and stuff like that, I could see like that being too similar to Welcome to, but the Cartographer more open scoring system.
Yeah, I feel like the only real similarity there is you're flipping the card and then putting it on a board. Like the specific flip and fill, kind of like how I wouldn't say that like Gons and I don't know what another roll and write
Knock
is.
Mall?
Sure. That's the one I was trying to think of. But.
Oh, that's I played Knock Mall for the first time as well. Or the sequel, the second one.
Oh yeah.
Came out.
I was also thinking of the pig one, the Gray Fox pig one.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that one.
But
like Harvest Dice?
Harvest
Dice, yeah.
But yeah, like, yes, you're rolling dice and writing the number somewhere, but they're very different games.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what that's what I was asking him.
I know.
If he did.
I know. And I'm saying that having also played both, I feel that way, that they're very different.
I wasn't asking you.
I was just agreeing with Jeff. I'm allowed to agree with Jeff. Jeff, podcast vote that they're different enough?
Yeah. They're different enough.
I figured as much, but I wanted to ask.
There's a lot more fucking Welcome to now. I was talking to Elle at Deepwater. There's just a million mats. They've announced the sequel to Welcome to. Welcome to.
Good. Gonna be mad if it wasn't that.
Yeah. But I did also play Knock Mall for the first time. That one's a lot of fun. It's sort of coloring in those various blocks of colored stuff.
Bad at Knock
I
Mall.
played the shit out of that on my phone way back when.
They this one adds in like a 7th die, like a gold die that has various powers and stuff on it that you can use.
Okay.
That was easy enough to catch on, but they had clearly played it a billion times more than I had.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, but I was still doing pretty okay. Because in a multiplayer game, you have the first person to fill in columns or rows gets more points versus others, or more powers if you're there first or second. And then were the hearts in the first one?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember.
So if you filled in like a vertical column, there was like one of the gold die powers is it had a heart on it, and it increased your bonus for filling any vertical or horizontal column based on how many hearts you had, starting like with 1, 2, 3, etc.
Yeah.
I never played the first one, but I sort of was like, I'm going to fill out a lot of vertical columns, so I'm going to get a lot of hearts. So now I get a bonus 2 or 3 depending on how late in the game it was.
Okay.
I saw Dark Tower.
Yeah, you sent a picture of it.
Yeah,
it looks a giant fucking tower.
It was definitely a prototype, but it lights up now. I didn't see it actually do any of the spinny stuff.
Okay.
But the game looks a lot more gamier. There's a lot more cards and stuff that are involved here.
More modern gamier.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't just moving a dude and then pressing a button on the electronic thing,
and then just seeing what happens.
Yeah, unless the prototype didn't have the electronics in it yet, and they were using like a card system or something to do that. So I'm not sure what it was. It was not out on the table all the time, and when it was, there was a dude with a bunch of cameras and shit around him watching this play. So
of course,
yeah,
fucking people.
Yeah, some bigwig was playing the Dark Tower. And there was I played in the prototype area. I played a pretty neat game with Eric Buscemi from Punchboard Media founder fame. Sits on the council.
Also, I believe does. I think they're still doing it. The Patrick and Eric in the morning, which is like their little morning talk radio-esque board game show.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
He knew who I was, so that was nice.
You're infamous, Jeff.
Yes, absolutely. We played a little game called Cascadia. It was a prototype. It was little hexes that had six different animal types on them: bears, foxes, eagles, etc. And then there's a series of scoring cards and then they also have types of terrain like wetlands, rivers, but they were like very sharp angle type stuff, similar to Tapestry, and kind of how like their terrain kind of meets up.
Okay.
And so you're trying to make runs of terrain and putting certain animals in certain spots based on scorecards that have to do with said animals. So eagles don't want to be adjacent to any other eagles.
Okay.
They're very solitary
yes.
creatures.
Bears, you want like a set of 3, a set of 2, and a set of 1, but you don't want those sets adjacent to each other.
Okay.
Salmon, you want a run of 4 where salmon are only touching on 2 sides. Deer, you want them in various lines. So like a line of 5, a line of 4, a line of 3, a line of 2, a line of 1.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you're just drafting one at a time. So there's little wooden discs that are different animals, and then there's little hex tiles, and then the game's over when you run out of hexes and stuff. It was neat. I liked it. But it was very much like micro action. Being a prototype, it didn't really have any insert or anything like that, but a way to like not have to draw in a bag every half second would be nice. That was my only real complaint about the game. But otherwise, it was a neat little micro action game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, what else? You only got to meet the parks guy. I was waiting for parks, but you only got to meet the parks guy. You didn't get to actually play parks.
Yeah, we just chit-chatted.
I keep hearing really good things, and that's one I was really bummed I didn't get to get in on the Kickstarter for.
Yeah, so I have so you can tell what I'm talking about with Cascadia.
Oh, nifty.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to play that.
Yeah, Cascadia, coming sometime. Met a couple fans. I met Scumpaul from recent Patreon fame.
Yep.
And then I met the Danimal himself.
I was astounded at how similar you two looked in your selfie together.
Yes.
You and the Danimal.
We both have a shoulder or more length hair and a beard, and we're white. So.
And similar amounts of, I feel like, gray in the shoulder length hair.
His is a little more blonde than mine.
Yeah.
So. He's cool. We just said hi real quick. One day, Scumpaul came up and was asking, it was like, "You must be Jeff." And I was like, "I am Jeff." And I showed him my hair. And then
you unfurled it?
I unfurled. Actually, I think I was wearing my hair down that day, so it was easy to find me. And then on Sunday, Danimal came and said hi.
Gotcha.
With his significant other or person that he was with. I don't know.
Making a lot of presumptions there, Jeff.
I don't know. This other lady he was with.
It was his lady friend.
Yeah. Friend that was a lady.
Did you give out ribbons?
The badges are weird.
Oh, they didn't work with our ribbons?
No, they're like...
fucking PAX is dead to me now.
It's like... They were all super rectangular, but like but the bottom of the short side wouldn't fit any badge ribbons. You'd have to hang them like off the side.
Should have started a trend.
Yeah. It was also all the badges didn't have anyone's name on them. So you never could figure out who the hell anyone was except by saying like, "Hey, who are you?" Which is always very convenient at Gen Con. You could just be like, "Hey, you're Boop." Then that's your name.
Yeah.
I wanted like
I could see both sides. As somebody who's terrible with names, I like having the names on the tags.
It would have been really nice to have that. Yeah.
But like, I could also appreciate like if you're somewhat famous, like more famous than us in the board game industry, like just not always having people like who don't know who you actually are see your name and be like, "Oh, you're Isaac Childress. You did Gloomhaven. Let me talk to you about Gloomhaven." And you're like, "I've talked about Gloomhaven 40 fucking times this week." You know,
in the last hour and a half.
Yeah. So I feel like I can understand from some people's perspective where it'd be nice to not have your name just hanging around your neck. And people actually have to know not only who you are, but what you look like to come bother you.
Yeah.
That wraps up what we've been playing, which lets us move over to, I believe, Jeff, you said there's a Bloody Minute this week.
There is. I haven't played. I got the 3rd seed in the playoffs, or second seed for the vaults.
Very similar numbers.
Yes. I was thinking of the bracket in my head, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 alternating. I'm third down, but I'm still second seed. So I have a bye week, and they will be playing this Friday, Saturday. I think 2 games have played so far. Paul has a game coming up against the Khemri that smushed me real hard earlier this season. My only loss was against this Khemri team. 16-man Khemri foul machine team.
Are they going to fuck Paul
up? So he unfortunately, the Egyptian team will not have its star frenzy tackle blitzer, as it is missed next game. So that was the biggest threat against Paul by far. And so Paul's pretty excited about that.
Yeah, he actually just in chat said, I'm playing Khemri, but he's missing a tackle MB frenzy blitzer, which is nice for me.
Yes, very much. Yeah, tackle mighty blow frenzy would have been real rough to play against. But he's still a foul machine. Like, if Paul has a guy on the ground, he's going to foul him, like, no matter what. He's got a 16-man team, and his little skeletons are worth a lot less than Paul's fucking wood elves. So
I'm sure.
It would absolutely be a trade-off. And I think all of Paul's armor is 7, pretty sure.
Okay.
And with Khemri teams, they have 4 strength 5 guys. They have 4 big guys.
Okay.
Yeah. And I doubt Paul's going to hit them enough to have them have to worry about decay and taking 2 injury casualty rolls. I don't know. Maybe his tree will actually fucking do something instead of fall over and stay on the ground all game.
I don't buy it. No, that doesn't seem like what trees do.
No.
Big tree fall hard.
Yeah, and all game. In other Blood Bowl news, they announced all of the ogres. Ogres are the next revamp team. They've announced all the minis, but the rules have leaked. The ogres are going to get a new positional with a new skill. There's always been throw teammate, but now there will be kick teammate. One of the ogres will be able to kick a Noblar, who are like 5, 1, 3, 5, strength 1, armor 5. They can kick them D6 or 2D6, but if they roll doubles on the 2D6, they instantly KO them.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah. But they've added something to the game called a slave giant.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this thing looks ridiculous.
It's a 400K. I don't know if it's an inducement or you can just literally buy it for any team for 400K. But it seems absolutely game breaking.
Great.
So Blood Bowl is 1 square based system.
Yes.
With the big guys taking up 4 squares, or big guys taking up 1 square.
Yeah.
The giant takes up a 3x3.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought it was a 2x2. Is it actually 3x3?
Maybe
it's gotta be a
no.
2x2.
What I'm thinking. It has 4. It has 4 scatter spots on it where it can go.
Okay.
So you need like a D12 to figure out where the ball comes from.
Okay.
So it's absolutely massive, and the way it moves and the way everything rules wise works with this guy, it just seems bad.
Games Workshop putting out something ridiculously huge that's going to be game breaking? No.
It's like fucking 40K. Like they put in all that random, like huge, like the Imperial Knights, which are just like giant mechs into the game.
Because people will fucking pay for it.
Yeah. It seems crazy. It's definitely the biggest rules change I've seen in many, many, many years.
Are you guys gonna
ban it? Can you ban it?
It depends on what the NAF does. I mean, the new NAF rules for stuff like that happened already, so I would assume slave giants aren't going to be a thing until they would introduce like stuff like new stars and inducements in the next year's rules.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I would suspect we don't have to worry about that, but it is just the craziest shit. And I would highly recommend everyone go and look at the weird fucking crazy model. It's like a giant fat lady squatting. I think that's the model for it.
Okay.
Oh boy.
But they're not out yet. So yeah. So yeah, playoffs. I'll find out who I'm playing by the end of this weekend.
Right on. So that wrapping up the Bloody Minute moves us now over to the Kingdom Death Hour, which hopefully won't actually be an hour.
No, it was pretty uneventful. CJ has basically everything in Kingdom Death. We actually played with the models, unlike our other campaign where we don't have all the models built. We own all the cards, but the models have not been built.
Oh, did CJ build all of them?
Yeah, CJ's actually like built stuff.
Does he paint it or?
No.
Okay.
No.
Wait, so in your guys' regular game here, you don't always have the minis? Like,
no.
I mean, we have minis, but we fight a lot of like lions, and for any regular dude, it's the Kingsman. That's just who he is. Even if it's like the Slenderman or whatever shit, we just use them.
Weakest of sauces.
Because Paul wants to have them all built and painted super fancy. Yeah. So
I mean, to be fair, that Gorm looks real good.
Yeah.
So
but it's like a 6 to 9 month process.
Exactly.
So we did People of the Stars campaign, which basically all the standard stuff happened. We fought a lion. Then we started doing the Gorm, which has been a lot of fun because the Gorm adds in some pretty interesting hit locations. Like if you're using bone weapons, we were super light on weapons that whole campaign because everything kept breaking. We kept not getting enough resources. We wanted to innovate all the time because the Gorm climate has a chance to destroy your innovations or your entire resource supply. And in 3 of 7 years, we rolled a 1 to 3, which would either destroy your entire supply or destroy an innovation. So we just kept having to destroy innovations over and over, or else we would have had way more and better innovations. At least we were actually fighting the Gorm, unlike we did in our last campaign, which we didn't even fight the Gorm, and it was just destroying our innovations all the time.
Yep, so that's why we decided to just be like, well, if we're not going to actively try and get the Gorm suit and shit like that, fuck him.
Yeah. So we were actively trying to get that stuff, and he's got really good weapons, but there's actually really hard to build because you need very specific things for it. And it probably would have been better to go for like the antelope a couple times just to get the hides and the bones to make weapons.
Yeah, because he's the antelope's the best at just getting resources.
Yeah, because a lot of even crits on there will just give you a free antelope resource and things like that. Where a Gorm's still just 4 and 4, and the antelope I think is
it can be up to like 6 and 8.
Yeah, 6 and 8 on a level 2, I think.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we rolled really well for all of our intimacy rolls. We got a crit on our first one because before you have any kids, like you have to roll once, and then you can have your principle of new life. And then
which one did you do?
The good one. Of course.
Hey, I just gotta ask.
Plus strength, plus evasion, and free lifetime reroll. We actually ran into a hunt event that lets you you have to change all of your names because you come back as different people, but it refreshes your lifetime reroll.
Oh,
so if you've used it, it'll refresh it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, and you get a free survival because you've named a new survivor.
Right.
It's like you came back as different people, but you kept all your skills and stuff. It was weird. Yeah, but we were rolling pretty mediocre. No real crits or real big saves in any of the battles. Didn't really have a lot of deaths. It was pretty by the numbers, decent Kingdom Death campaign. We got through the Tyrant, so they got to see kind of like the new Tyrant mechanics and how he gives you the buffs and the scars and the constellation stuff.
How he tests you, and then he can. Did he end up fucking over anybody?
Oh boy, did he! We actually were using the harp to get rid of moods.
Oh yeah,
because we were like, well, I can make this harp because we got the whiskers. May as well just do that. It actually became super useful. CJ was crushing it with bone darts, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Fucking bone darts, man. It's crazy.
They're like literal darts.
And you just roll one, it's a 7+, and it just has like 3 strength. But like when I had it in our game, crit. And it was, and like the first time I do it, it would do like extra damage too. And it's for how bad they should be, they're great.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fairly by the book. Wonderful Kingdom Death. We ended around year 7. Not sure if we'll ever start that campaign again or a new one, as is tradition. It wasn't like our last one where we had almost a master of the fucking Twilight Sword.
Yeah.
Which we haven't even found in like one of our campaigns ever. So
yep.
Cool.
Yeah. That one was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was surprisingly succinct.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed, Jeff.
Yeah.
Detailed play-by-play for each of the fights.
We did use the app, which is extremely
Did they like it?
great. Yeah, they loved it.
Nice.
Yeah, we ended up on year 7, only had 2 people die, population of 12.
What was your thing called?
Harderwick.
Okay.
WIJK.
WIJK.
Yep.
Was that random or?
That was indeed a random. Yep. But we had a bunch of people with iridescent hide, so we started getting some really great armor stuff. We did end up having one of our characters come back. They got a disorder that I had never seen before. It was called Afraid of the Dark, and it just means your hunter retires.
Okay.
It's not dead, but the only way a hunter retires in other games, it's like you hit like 10 plus experience or something like that.
16
experience. And basically they just retire. So we threw her to the maw, where you just roll as many dice as you want. And if you don't roll doubles, you can get something really good. And we were like, well, if she rolls over a 35, she didn't, but we could have, and gotten a lantern sword in like year 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that wraps up the Kingdom Death Hour. And so we can move on to the next portion of the show, which is news and Kickstarters.
Starting up with news. Fantasy Flight has released an April Fool's joke as a thing you can actually buy as an expansion to Arkham Horror, the LCG, Barkham Horror, as in dogs.
Yes.
The meddling of Meowlithotep
or something like that.
Yeah.
Meowlithotep sounds like what it looks like. Yeah, so this is an April Fool's joke that has gotten so far out of control that it's now a real product, because
I'm pretty sure the fans demanded it.
Oh yeah, very much so. They had
St. Mary's Animal Hospital.
Yeah, we thought that was all this project was, a fun piece for one day. How wrong we were.
Dog monocle.
Yeah.
It's like a dog. He's got a monocle.
We got Schizo Drool. You got Katie Pup.
Squirrel.
Yep.
It's a squirrel. You must test for 4. I think it's agility.
Yep.
And then depending on, I bet you, if you fail by a certain amount, you will become delayed.
Yeah. So this is a one-off 78 card deck for Arkham Horror LCG,
which I think is the usual
size of the
Yeah. I do like that you can be Duke, who, if you remember the Drifter, I forget his name.
Ashcan Pete.
Pete. So you can be Duke, his dog, and then it's you start with friendly human and play.
But yeah, so it's just a ridiculously little silly thing where apparently like your decks, if your hero decks can't have any cat cards at all.
I mean, makes sense, yeah.
But you can use any of the cards, the dog stuff from other things. Things like Schizo Drool.
Yep.
Always wanted to be a good boy, but his nose for trouble kept landing him in the pound where the bad dogs go.
Jacqueline. Sorry. Was it Jaqueline? From
Jaqueline,
yeah. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, Jacqueline K9, the paw reader.
Yeah. A cat's chance in hell. The humans have no idea of the dangers that lurk beyond the world they know, and you must do everything in your power to keep them safe. They are the purveyors of pets, the givers of treats, and now is the time for you to live up to the name man's best friend.
Yep.
So yeah. They're also, for this special little one-off, they are partnering with Pets for Vets, which is like a charity group that tries to match up like returning veterans with pets from shelters and things, because it turns out dogs help with all kinds of things, emotionally and physically. And
yep.
No real info on like how they're partnering up with Pets for Vets, like if they're doing portion of the proceeds or anything like that. Nothing in this article about
Supporter.
That. But yeah. But there you go. If you've always wanted to play Arkham Horror LCG, but with doggos, you can play Barkham Horror, the card game. And that's a thing now. So next up in news.
Next up in news, the sequel to Gloomhaven that is not that Gloomhaven subtitle Jaws of the Lion thing, a full-ass sequel to Gloomhaven called Frosthaven.
Well, that's good because we were almost done with our Gloomhaven, right, Jeff?
Absolutely. I'd say we're probably a third, maybe.
Maybe a fourth, yeah.
Yeah.
I think somebody shared in the Slack channel like a comic that somebody did, like Saturday Morning Breakfast or something, did a comic that was somebody like, I'm thinking about getting Gloomhaven. Like, that's a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
Even if you play once a week for 2 years, you'll only play half the scenarios.
Yep. Yeah.
What if people move? What if things happen? Like, what are you going to do? And he's like, oh, you're saying I shouldn't get it? And they're like, no, you should definitely get it. It's great.
What if you even lose a scenario? That's like half the amount of progress you're going to make in a day.
I know.
Especially if you do it right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new one.
Yeah.
So this was at PAX.
Okay.
Well, at least it was a very large booth where they gave people Inox horn, like Burger King crowns.
Okay.
And they had a photo booth where you could like put the crown on and have spears like your Inox people.
Nice.
No, okay.
Did you say the name of it?
Frosthaven.
Okay. Frosthaven.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's the story of a small outpost in the far north, north of the capital city of White Oak, a very remote outpost with a group of mercenaries at the end of their rope will help bring back this settlement from the edge of destruction. So
it's got Frost Inox things and some new classes and
so there's Algox, the bigger, more Yeti-like cousins of the
Yes.
Inox.
Because we needed bigger versions of those things.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they must have been doing demos there, but they had extremely fancy terrain setups for them.
Nice.
Like the very expensive D&D type terrain setups with like actual tavern buildings next to the like hallways and streets and stuff. They looked super cool. I took some pictures of them. But there wasn't any like real content there that I could see.
Gotcha.
Coming to Kickstarter next year.
Yeah. Standalone adventure with 16 new characters, 3 new races, and 20 new enemies, more than 100 new items, and a new 100 scenario campaign.
Yes. It's Gloomhaven 2.
So if you've done nothing but play Gloomhaven since the first Gloomhaven launched, you might be ready to restart a new campaign of Frosthaven.
Not to mention, like, there's paths you can take in Gloomhaven that there's plenty of content you won't even see in one campaign.
Yeah. So
there's like a full good or evil like path in that game.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. That's Frosthaven for you.
Yeah.
It's going to be coming to Kickstarter.
It's going to make a lot of money.
Oh,
yes, it will.
And last up on news,
we have Monopoly making a new stupid version called Longest Game Ever.
Like, so I agree with the title of this one. Like, this proves that Hasbro is just trolling. Like, Hasbro is just fucking with people at this point. They've made all of the money they could ever make off of Monopoly. And so at this point, they are just throwing shit at a wall for fun and to see what random idiot comes along and picks it up.
Yep.
So they've doubled the length of the board. There is now an inner track as well as the regular track.
Yep.
And you're using 1d6 instead of 2d6 to move.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're moving less space with double the amount of spaces in the game.
But it is just the board repeated 3 times.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh my god, I had not noticed that.
Yeah, so it's just
3 times.
Yeah.
It looks like it's only twice.
Well, how many boardwalks do you count? Because I count 3. One under game, the one in the top left, and then the one in the bottom right.
Yep.
But like, there's only 6 green, not 9 green, as if it was repeated 3 times. So they've tweaked things.
So there's only two of each.
There's only 2
color,
of each. Yes,
and not 3 of certain ones.
Yeah.
Probably just to be able to make it fit exactly. Boardwalk hitting go at the very end. There.
Which, and I wonder, like, at that point, is each boardwalk the same boardwalk?
No, I mean, there are 66 properties with 3 versions of each one, and the only way to win is to own every purchasable square in the game, not for everybody to go bankrupt.
I mean, once everybody goes bankrupt, the remaining player can just buy everything.
I mean, you gotta go.
Gotta make the motions, man.
You gotta make the motions to go get all that crap.
Yeah, but at that point, it's just, once everybody's bankrupt, it's just a numbers game.
Yeah.
And so you can just, I won.
Just hand wave it away like that. Yeah.
Yes. I agree with Boyd. I'd actually rather go to real jail than this.
Can I play Death in Hell at Monopoly longest game ever?
Yeah.
He's got to buy all the properties. I mean, that gives me some time, right?
Good God, man.
It's a bogus Journey reference.
Fuck. Yeah, so there's
Yeah, it's pretty garbage.
I only see 2 Pascos.
Yeah, there's only 2 Pascos.
Okay.
Speaking of Reading Railroad, there was a Reading Market in Philadelphia.
Ah.
Yeah. That's where I got my cheesesteak. And saw a lot of different types of bacon.
Oh, yeah. I saw the bacon photo. Anyway, so Monopoly longest game ever. If you're a glutton for punishment, go check it out.
It is $20 that you can burn or something.
You'd
I don't
be
know.
better off just lighting the 20 on fire or sending it to us.
Yeah.
Throw it in the mail. Just write our address on the $20 bill and put it in the mail.
Or
and
carve
hope
it
for the best.
Carve it into a coconut. Put the $20 bill in the coconut.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. Then throw it in the sea, and then it'll make it to us.
You could mail a coconut with
Yes,
an address carved into it.
Yeah. You used to be able to do a banana too, I think.
Potato?
But yeah. I don't know.
I don't think the banana would last.
Anyway,
You gotta put a sticker on it that says fragile.
I feel sorry for the mailman. Just a brown shitty banana like going to Alaska.
Anyway, moving over to Kickstarter.
Someone had to put that on a plane to take it to Alaska.
Starting with Kickstarter.
You paid like $1 for it
Good
too.
God, quit running now.
It's funny.
Yeah. I said it is something I always find funny that you could just be like, put a stick, 45 cents. Here, take this to Alaska. On it.
Yes, sir.
No problem, bro.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, moving on to some Kickstarters.
Hide your pocketbooks, everyone. It's going to be a ride.
Yeah.
It's an expensive round.
Yeah.
There's no cheap ones this week.
Nope. First up in Kickstarter this week is Divinity Original Sin, the board game. This game has made $1.132 million.
It's went up 4,000 since we started prep 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
It's made $4,000.
You can probably just do the first 2 digits and then be good from there.
Yeah, probably. Over 6,200 backers, just a week left to go on this one. Its most popular pledge being $220.
With the base pledge is just a
$120.
Yeah, it's $120.
Yeah.
A lot more manageable.
And then there's like a $165 pledge in there too. But it's apparently a 1 to 4 player, 60-minute plus game, fully cooperative adventure board game.
Yep, set in the Chronicle system. So this is being developed by Larian Studios LLC, who actually makes Divinity.
Yep.
The video game, which I started playing in the last week and a half, and 23 hours later I finally exited the intro area.
They are extremely good games.
I've been loving it. It is
in the
real good.
CRPG genre.
I am not so good at the tactical battle stuff. My guys tend to just stay in one spot and get hammered by AoE spells and die. I'm not that bad.
I've heard the combat is quite difficult, challenging.
It's fun though. I like the combat. Just hate having to talk to fucking everybody.
Oh, see, I like talking to everybody.
I mean, I like talking, but then I'm just like, oh god, now I just gotta listen to all of this, and then I gotta talk some more. Oh god damn it.
Anyhow, so this is, like Jeff said, 1 to 4 players. It takes 60 plus minutes.
Yeah.
So at least an hour. But
so who knows how long it could really take?
We could start having
this could fucking be longer than Monopoly, the longest game ever.
Well, we can get a copy. Maybe that we'll have the Divinity Original Sin day to follow the Kingdom Death Hour. Who knows?
All right, well, go ahead and back it, Adrian.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a branching narrative-filled adventure. The Chronicle system lets you make different choices to
influence stuff.
And
it's supposed to they're going to make more games after this, and the choices you make in this are you submit the things that you do, and I'm assuming
might carry over.
Yeah, it might carry over, or if the majority of people help this person versus didn't, then this person will be doing stuff versus they died or whatever. So I don't know how exactly that'll work.
Kind of like how XCOM did XCOM 1, where they're like, almost everybody based on our like telemetry lost their first campaign. So that's what we went with for the second one.
Also, if you won the campaign, there's not going to be a second one. So
yeah.
You had to lose.
Yeah. There's 4 main characters in this one. 2 of them are from the computer game. Ifan and the Red Prince here. I'm actually playing the Red Prince in my game, and Ifan is in my crew. He's pretty badass. But then they're introducing 2 new characters who are now part of the lore. So maybe they'll be patched into the game at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's this
Snake
Farzana
person,
and
skeleton
Volley.
person.
Yeah.
There's a fuckload of minis in this game. Real shocker, I'm sure.
Yeah, crazy board with an inset clock that's part of that whole system that they're coming up with. Bunch of dice, 847 cards. Like nearly 1,000 fucking
standard
cards.
size cards.
Yeah.
They look like various
skills,
locations.
items,
Yeah.
enemies, yeah, all that stuff.
Tons of tokens. 120 plus page encounter book, 40 page rule book, chronicle score sheets. Then we get to the premium edition that adds minis for all of the bosses.
Yeah.
Metal coin sets, extra dice, upgraded bags for initiative, and crafting materials. Various side quest upgrades.
These minis are ridiculous.
Yeah, and the $220, the all-in one, adds like the extra side quest, so basically like a little expansion shit.
Yep. Tons, like the Kraken Mega Boss has been unlocked as a stretch goal. It's like a crazy Kraken base set with like various tentacle minis that come like out of the water next to it. A cat, a black cat.
Yeah, that's from the game.
Where's the fucking squirrel riding a thing? I don't remember what that other thing is called, but
yeah, it's from the definitive edition.
Yeah.
The black cat's also. I don't know why it's not in the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Apparently, and Broken Token already has an insert made for this that you can already pre-order.
Yep. No, I saw it at BGG Con. They had it in there. So.
Oh man, these minis are fucking sweet.
But one criticism I've heard of the game is the minis aren't really
anything.
needed for anything. They're not like, it doesn't matter where they're really placed. They could just have just been a token. So
I mean, that's most minis games, isn't it?
Yeah, like people and the price point for this game has been highly criticized for being so extremely expensive.
I mean, I think a lot of it is just due to the license, basically.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it's their own game.
Yeah. So you could compare this to Riot.
Mechs versus Minions.
Doing Mechs versus Minions, and they did it at a ridiculously low price point.
It's their own, it's their own property.
Yeah, so they didn't have to license it.
I mean, because it's Divinity, they can charge that much.
No, that I could believe.
That's what I meant. Sorry,
but I do have to hand it to them that their actual like goal of $160,000, which is a much more realistic goal for a Kickstarter. Like $30,000, $40,000, $10,000,
$2.
Yeah. So they can't say like
funded in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Funded with one pledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Our first pledge was already 220% of our original goal.
So the way the game plays, there's a storybook that you're going to read from, and then you decide together as a team how you're going to respond to what's happening. And you have your different traits and abilities that can unlock different options depending on what characters you're playing as. You know, in the base game, like you only have the 4 main characters, but with all the add-ons, there's a shit ton more player characters. The choices you make will direct you towards different locations that you can explore, where you have a unique set of cards that you'll lay around the game board, which people will choose where to visit, similar like time stories where it's like, these are the 5 locations. All right, I'm going to location 1, you're going to 3, you're going to 5, so on and so forth. The story and the artwork give you clues for what to expect, again, similar to time stories. And then there's traps and combat, again, similar to time stories. Battling, it plays out over a few different rounds where you're taking action points and using those to like move around, which is like straight out of the game. Like depending on each battle, you get a certain you get a number between like 4 and like 7 action points based on like a random die roll.
Mm-hmm.
And they let you do things like, 1 AP will move you so far, 2 will move you further. Certain actions cost 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever.
Sounds like the old Fallout games.
Yeah. A lot of RPGs have used an action point system like that. And then skills and things that you use will have a cooldown period before they're available again. And you keep fighting over and over like that. Killing things and exploring areas and resolving story beats until at some point you're done.
It seems like the minis just sit on the cards that are on that rotating thing.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah, there's not like an actual... I don't know, because it does mention...
I mean, I watched a combat and initiative video here real quick, and it just seemed like you just placed your mini on the card that was your card.
Yeah, but because it says you use the action points to move around during battle. So.
I think it's just moving them along the cards, because the cards just sort of sit surrounding that centerpiece, and then the dial will move between the initiative because they had little tokens representing the characters' initiatives, I believe.
Oh.
That's the little time clock thing.
Gotcha.
But it was just the minis going from like card to card to like, I guess you have those cool minis to stand on the cards to represent that your guy's there.
Yeah.
But it seems like an extreme expense of this game is just to have the mini stand on the card.
Or use them in D&D, which is what I'd probably do.
That is definitely, they are very sweet minis, but they sure have made a lot of money.
Yes,
so it doesn't matter what my opinion is.
So this Chronicle system, getting down here a little bit, Zach, like you were saying, so each copy of the game has a unique one-use code enabling you to submit all of the choices you made throughout your adventure to the developers, which they will then collect the information and use it to decide what happens in the next expansion for the game. Perhaps the merchant family has grown to be part of the nobility, and they will remember you saved them. If most players chose that course of action, the expansion will have some very appreciative nobles. Then again, if players took the other path, perhaps one of the merchant's descendants survived and seeks vengeance. With the Chronicle system, you not only change the course of your game, but also impact the future of Rivellon as a whole. Which I wonder then if they're going to wrap any of that, because they've mentioned like earlier with some of the new characters that these are like now part of the lore. So are they going to get wrapped into Divinity Original Sin 3, the video game? Like based on players' choices and shit?
They only just recently did the definitive edition of 2.
I mean 3 is nowhere near happening,
No.
But
I mean, this is the same people that made the PC games, so who knows?
Yeah. They also suggest that a single playthrough will only uncover approximately 25% of the content.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Branching paths.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Divinity Original Sin, the board game.
Ooh, that number just went down.
Next up on Kickstarter?
Next up on Kickstarter is Great Wall board game. $1.4 million of its $53,000 goal, over 16,000 backers, and just under a week left to pledge this one. Its most popular pledge being $120, with a reasonable non-mini pledge at $60.
There's a lot of stuff in this one.
There sure is.
All right, so this is from the people that did...
Yeah, so Zach, you're backing this. You've looked into it a little bit more. Take it away.
This is the people that did Tainted Grail and other Nemesis, maybe? They might have done that too.
That sounds right.
Yeah. But anyway, this one is their take on a Euro-style game. Basically, each of you are... like different generals in the Chinese army, and you're trying to fight
different clans.
Yeah. You're trying to fight off the Mongolian horde and also prove yourself to be the best general person. So this is a couple different parts. Basically, your first part, it's like broken into seasons. So like winter is like you're placing your little scribe dudes on the worker placement spots, but it has this cool thing where, so say there's like 4 spots there, I put a guy there. It doesn't activate until all 4 spots are taken.
Okay.
You're placing it there and, you're wanting it to go off. And so you could place more of your own dudes there to get it to go off. But like, if you just like flood the area with your own stuff, then you get negative honor for like just having it only be your own people. So like you want to try and like spread it out to different stuff like that.
Okay.
But basically you're getting materials, you're hiring people, you're training, arrow guides, bowers,
archers.
There we go. There's words.
Arrow guys, bowers,
clerks, cavalry, spearmen, and archers.
See, there we go. There's the names. I'm not scrolling down like Jeff is. So, but eventually you're gonna get it to the point where you need to fight off the Mongolian horde, and so they come out in different like cards that have different areas and like basically you're trying to fill in all the spots. So if you have like a spearman and stuff like that, you can put it on a spot to basically you're inflicting some damage. And like once you cover it all, then it's basically you've eliminated that part of the horde. And you'll get points for like whoever does the most damage to it. But then everyone who contributes gets stuff like that. And then after you fight off each of the horde, then you can contribute to building the Great Wall. And so as you build it up, you're going to get better defenses, but it'll also let you have more archers on there.
And it has like cool stacking wall pieces.
Yes. And you're basically just going through that, you're just trying to survive. And it looks like there's a lot of like unique abilities that you can get from people. And it just, I don't know, it seems pretty cool. And also I'm a big fan I'm always a big fan when they have like a mini version that they realize you don't always need the minis. And so like, it's literally half the price.
Yeah.
And these aren't just like generic meeples. These are like meeples custom made for it that all look good. The archer looks like an archer. The bowman looks like a bowman. The arrow dude looks like an arrow. No.
And the meeples will have a sticker set that comes with them as well. So they won't be screen printed, but they'll be sticker meeples.
Yes.
Okay.
Even their expansions, like the Black Powder expansion, will have a meeple version and a minis version. All the minis look great, at least these mock-ups, because I don't think any of this is anywhere near.
No.
Yeah.
But all these mock-ups for the minis look pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the meeples is definitely a good option to have.
Yeah.
Right.
And, with all their insane amount of stretch goal stuff, you're getting
you get a cooperative expansion, a Genghis Khan expansion. That's just stretch goals.
Yeah. Quality upgrades, all that stuff.
There's it seems like there's like an upgraded resources expansion and a Black Powder expansion that you can do an actual add-on with, like an art book and a playmat and stuff like that. But content-wise, it's really just and a dragon, whatever an Iron Dragon is.
Iron Dragon is, and that was for if you're a day one backer, you get it for free. Otherwise, it costs $10.
I see.
They even have a meeple add-on if you get the minis
and want the meeples,
and you still want the meeples. You can pay $23 for them. So
yeah.
And then they have a playmat, which is 20% bigger than the cardboard board. So, but the upgraded resources look really good. Like for $22, you get 150 pieces of high quality resource tokens, which is like gold, coal, and wood and stuff like that. It's not bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems pretty cool.
Yeah, $60 is a lot better than $120.
Yes.
But
yeah,
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Last up on Kickstarter this week.
Yep.
Because that was Great Wall.
That was Great Wall.
Yes.
Moving on to our final Kickstarter.
Mistborn Metal Dice. Very well funded. $114,000 of its $30,000 goal. 708 backers, and just a week left to go on this one. Its most popular pledge being $200.
Yeah.
So this is a set of dice for that Mistborn game from the book series of the Brandon Sandersons.
Yeah, so, they're also just like some sweet D6s, if you want some sweet metal D6s.
Because they're like actually made out of like all these crazy metals.
They're at least meant to look like. I don't think they're all made out of the various
Some of them are
metals.
Fictional metals, if I am...
Some of them are fictional metals, and I'm pretty sure the gold ones aren't solid gold, and the silver
they would
ones
be
are not
at most,
solid silver.
At most gold-plated.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically, there is a Mistborn RPG that's basically a D6 system, and so they worked here with Crafty Games to... Crafty Games made the Mistborn RPG, and then they've worked together with Die Hard Dice to partner up and make this awesome set of 20 different dice to work with the RPG, but also to be very Mistborn themed. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Mistborn, the main crux of the Mistborn mythology, in the way like the equivalent of magic, we'll call it in Mistborn universe, is it's allomancy. So you use metals like to fuel your powers.
So everyone is Magneto.
Yes, but no.
Okay.
So different metals do different things.
So some people are Magneto.
Some people are Magneto.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
So for instance, like I'm re-listening to Mistborn right now, and I'm going to mess up some of these. But so, for instance, like pewter, you consume metal, like you eat it, or like
is that how it works?
In most cases, like you like
drink it.
Like the allomancers, like they have a small vial that's filled with like alcohol with metal shavings of the different types of metals.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a Mistborn can use all the metals, but certain people can only use like one type of metal, and it's like paired metal. So like you could.
So what does pewter do?
So pewter makes you like really physically strong. Like it gives you more endurance and strength.
What about speed?
Also speed. That's part of that.
How does it help them heal?
It speeds up your heal. It basically enhances all of your physical attributes. Whereas
it seems like iron is the Magneto.
Iron and steel together are the Magneto. So
it's pushing and pulling.
Because they all are various amounts of like a push and a pull, which I don't know what the side to the opposite to pewter is. They don't really ever talk about that.
Tin?
Maybe?
I mean, it's just on the opposite. It's the one next to it. So it's physical internal pulling versus physical internal pushing.
Oh, yeah. And so tin enhances all your senses. So you can sense things around you.
So they turn into a Wolverine.
A Wolverine,
yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and like.
Are you sure this just isn't X-Men?
It just explains how X-Men works. Wolverine's claws are actually tin.
Gotcha. Okay. He's got one tin, one pewter.
Yeah. But so then like steel and iron, like one of them like lets you push and the other lets you pull. So like if there's like a coin on the ground, I could use my iron to pull it to me. Or if I wanted to, I could throw a coin on the ground and then use my steel to push off of it. And since it's on the ground, it's not going to go anywhere. And I would launch up because it's like, equal force type things.
So like bronze, you can burn it to be like, have a sixth sense to be like, here are the allomancers and what they're using. And then you could also be like take copper and be like, no, you don't. You don't get to see me.
Yeah. So like somebody who just uses copper or bronze, they're smokers. So like their copper is like a smoke cloud to hide everybody, whereas like the pewter guys were
claws. We already established.
No, they weren't claws. They were shit. now I'm all fucked up and I don't remember what anything is. But they're
smokes is bronze or copper.
And to be fair, Bob does bring up a good point. These are expensive, but $200 seems pretty awesome to get those powers.
So this is where the important caveat: you don't get the powers for spending the money.
Well, now I'm not excited.
But you can get the different D6 that are all like based off the different metals.
And they list all of the powers here. I want harmonium,
which in some of these, like I don't know, like. In the initial Mistborn trilogy, there were only 10 metals. There's a lot more than 10 here.
Yeah.
But
they all look cool.
Yeah.
They all look unique enough to be like, oh, I can see how you would want a set of.
Oh, yeah. The thing I think is really cool is if you look at the actual die for the pulling metals, like they recessed the face and then pulled the symbol up. Whereas for the pushing metals, the symbol is pushed down into the face of the die.
Yeah,
so like,
that is cool. I like that.
Like that's a really cool little detail that I think really fit with what the lore of Mistborn is. But yeah.
Lerasium. That's the one that turns people into Mistborns, I guess. So that's nice.
Why doesn't just everybody take that?
I would assume it's pretty rare.
Well, so if you look, those bottom four, adium, palladium, lerasium, and harmonium, are all the god metals. So they are basically non-existent.
I see.
But if you can get a hold of one, you basically become a god.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the adium one is like super powerful for Mistborn because like it lets you see you turn into Neo in the Matrix where you see like everything coming and you can just be like, no, dodge.
Like I don't even see the code anymore.
Yeah.
All I see is steak.
Steak everywhere.
So.
Comes in a cool collector's tin.
Yeah. Good God, I want this so fucking bad.
It has a fancy like felt dice tower like you can get for it.
I know. Everything in this is so well done. I just don't have the money to especially in the next week. I go to Japan in 6 weeks. I don't have hundreds of dollars to throw at metal dice. I think Wes is getting in on it. And I think they're going to have a full pledge manager, and so I might just give
they have
Wes money
it looks
later.
like you can get it from their website and at conventions at some point afterwards.
And
they'll offer it at a higher price, so you can just get it later at $1,500 or whatever they decided.
$180 is the set.
They do also have the the $1 pledge manager option.
Yep.
You just don't get the early bird, but I'm not getting that anyway because it's already just like 6 days.
They also have add-ons for all of their RPG sets that this actually uses. I don't think the board game's out yet.
No, but and I want to try the RPG. Like that sounds like that'd be a really cool RPG system. Like just imagining doing an RPG in the Mistborn world seems cool. I feel like you couldn't let anybody be a Mistborn because they'd be super powerful. Everybody'd have to be like the different types of like lower metal users, Allomancers.
All I'm saying is that, look, we've got, if you want to do that, it's fine. I'll be Logan, and then
I'll be Magneto.
He'll be Magneto. It'll be great.
And then I rip all the metal out of your body.
Yep. And then, stick it in my regular human body?
Yeah. I'll shoot all of his bone metal into yours.
Great. Anyway, yeah, that's Mistborn metal dice. You've got
you get one of each with this pledge.
Yeah, you got a few days left to get that one. So, there you go. That wraps up news and Kickstarters, which lets us move on to some listener feedback, starting with Jeff's favorite, the emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com. Let's start with Hot Hands Luke here. His email of, when did Zach start writing for The Guardian in the UK? Hello, boys. I just saw this and thought of you. It's useless for a podcast as it is a picture, but hey, it made me chuckle whimsically. Do you even have mince pies in the US? Best, Hot Hands.
I might actually be able to make this pop up for the stream people here real quick.
It's a guy holding a lot of mince pies that kind of looks like Zach.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the joke. Next up on emails.
Yeah, there it is. That's Zach. It screams Christmas. Mince pie.
Yes.
Yeah, if you know
I don't think we have.
I'm all about Christmas.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what a mince pie is, but I don't think we have like meat pies and things like that. They're like little tiny, like cupcake size,
something like that.
Meat pies.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd eat one.
Not gonna say no.
Yeah. Next on emails, it's from Andrew Boyd. Conventions and shit. BGG Con was great. I had lots of fun hanging out with Zach, Paul, Ofer, Lance, and my brother-in-law, Doug. I really enjoyed playing Bus, Taverns of Tiefenthal, Classic Clash of Cultures, Newton, and Food Chain Magnate's new expansion, Ketchup Mechanic, and other things I think is what it's called.
The Ketchup Mechanic and other things.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're great at naming things.
Yeah, Roads and Boats.
It's a brilliant name.
No, the Ketchup Mechanic is great. And then also other things. That we
love that. Yeah. I love it.
What's it? Roads and Boats
and etc.
etc.
Yeah. Roads and Boats and etc.
I hate that.
The Food Chain Magnate expansion is terrific, and we all somehow beat Adrian's $12 score. It's because they were using all the very powerful new strategies in the new expansion.
There's ketchup everywhere.
Yeah.
And because they were sitting actually playing at a table where you can actually focus on the game, not on an online game where you lose track over the course of 3 weeks of what people are doing.
Oh, so everybody else also got $12? Is that what you're saying?
No, because other people keep notes of their online 3-week-long games, which is something I'm not willing to put in that level of effort for.
Fair. My low was losing my Texas card by asking what burnt ends are at the barbecue place.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You didn't lose your Texas card. You lost your fucking American card.
Yeah.
What kind of red-blooded American doesn't know what burnt ends are?
Burnt ends are a Kansas City thing, right? F off with your fancy barbecue terms.
Yes, burnt ends. Very fancy.
Yes.
Yeah. They're a Kansas City specialty, but anybody who's familiar with barbecue should know about burnt ends.
Yeah.
Anyway, conventions. Do you have any bucket list conventions you want to attend but haven't?
Essen
Spiel would be mine, but I'd try to build it around a longer trip to Europe. The most fan Boyd. Essen Spiel is like a week or two after Oktoberfest in Munich, so that could definitely be part of a fucking longer European trip.
Yeah, take like a 3-week trip to Germany, hit up the tail end of Oktoberfest, then spend like a week actually like just seeing Germany as a tourist and not just a drunk asshole.
Or
anywhere.
Very close by other countries.
And then spend the long weekend at Essen. Yeah.
Shucks would be good too for that, I think, for going up to Vancouver.
So my top 3 right now would probably be Essen, Shucks, and then I don't know the name of it, but the one in Nigeria. That's been going for like 3 years now. Like, I'd really like to go to that one. Like,
that'd be neat.
Yeah. I like to travel to vastly different places. Like, because that's where I'm like, Shucks, I feel like would be like any.
Where's that one?
It's in Vancouver.
So it's in Canada. So it wouldn't be that much different than most North American conventions, whereas I feel like, I went to the area, which
we can go up there and get healthcare, man. Come on.
Yeah.
No, because we're not Canadian citizens. Well, we can get healthcare, just not quite as good as they can.
Just go to a board game convention in Mexico. Get some good healthcare there.
I don't know if there's any conventions in
Cuba?
Mexico.
You can make one in Cuba.
I would absolutely go to a board game convention in Cuba, like immediately.
Yeah. They've got great healthcare in Cuba.
I want to go to Cuba so bad.
Yeah. I already go to Gen Con. I like Gen Con a lot. PAX was a lot of fun. Next year, PAX is the same weekend as BGG Con.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah,
we're going to have to split our attentions. Send Jeff to PAX and Zach to BGG.
What about all of those other companies that would also like to be at them, but have an employee of like 5?
Pick and choose, man.
Yeah, definitely going to have to pick and choose next year.
I mean, I feel like anybody who's going for a business purpose is going to go to PAX.
Yeah.
Anybody who's going not in a business sense will go to BGG.
Yeah.
Like, BGG's a playing convention, PAX is a demoing, selling, advertising
and also
convention.
playing. There was definitely a lot of playing happening.
And didn't you say you had a hard time finding
in the
places
hotel?
To play? Oh.
Well, it was just the layout of how stuff was, because you didn't have that huge giant room just adjacent to it to see like, oh, hey, here's where or a stadium football field. It was a lot of like in those separate rooms, like a lot of those halls are at Gen Con.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that wraps up all of our emails. I think we all answered the bucket list convention.
I don't really have a bucket list convention. I just like going to Gen Con, and I keep going to it. So it's been long off the bucket list.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Do either of you want to go to Origins ever? Neither of you been to Origins? I really liked Origins.
I don't know.
I mean, it's Columbus, right?
I mean, yeah, you have to go to Ohio, unfortunately.
I mean, I lived there for a year, so.
True.
So no, right?
So it's like a homecoming for you.
It's like a homecoming, yeah.
And I mean, really, Ohio, Indiana, like, is one worse than the other?
I would say Columbus is better than Indianapolis.
I would 100% agree with that. Yeah.
When is it?
Now.
God damn it.
Well, now it's going to start competing with Geekway, because Geekway moving later. So
then Geekway over that.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
But I like Geekway because you play board games.
Yeah.
No, for me, it's like if I want to go for the selling and all that stuff, I'll go to Gen Con, but otherwise I'd probably prefer to go to more just game playing ones.
Yeah.
So
cool. That wraps up emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Zach, did we have any listener feedback over on BGG?
No.
Weak sauce, people. Come on. We have multiple ways to get a hold of us. You can take advantage of all of them. Nothing really on Twitter. No Facebooks.
My Twitter had a lot of stuff blown up.
Well, yeah, because you were at a convention.
My PAX Twitterings.
Your PAX people.
Yeah, I met a lot of PAX people.
Yeah.
Well, people I've met before. One new friend, Bob.
There you go. So then that wraps up listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, there are multiple ways to do so. You can send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can follow us on our various social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all now on the same page, MH Game Guys.
At least Instagram will be there momentarily.
Well, Instagram, okay. I already took care of Facebook.
Yes.
So instead of Facebook and Instagram being at Mile High Game Guys, they are now at MH Game Guys.
We're slowly just going to turn the logo into MHGG over years.
Exactly. But yeah, so Facebook and Instagram both, well,
like KFC.
Soon to be /MH Game Guys.
Yes.
Twitter, I tweet under at MH Game Guys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I'm Jeff_MHGG.
We have our Twitch channel that we're streaming on right now as we're recording this, twitch.tv/MH Game Guys. We have our Board Game Geek Guild number 2731, where we have a calendar with streaming events and things like that, and threads to talk about reviews and episodes that we do and all of that stuff. You can also jump over to our website, milehighgameguys.com, which apparently now we're going to need to get an MHGameguys.com.
I'd say the full name for the website's fine.
Well, we can get both and have one redirect to the other.
Yeah, let's get them both.
There you go. We'll just start spending more money on random websites.
That's what we need to do.
I think Jake's is like boardgames.beer or something like that.
Yeah.
He got like a .beer website. Or beer.board.
That brilliant bastard.
Yeah.
I secretly hate him because like I really wanted to do a board games and beer podcast and I couldn't come up with a way to do it. And then they fucking did it.
Well,
and they
Danielle
did it so
is the
goddamn good.
hard researcher behind all that.
I know.
So she
puts
really,
in a ton of work.
Yes.
I don't think any of us would.
God no. God no. Work? No.
Yeah, he was
no.
explaining like a beer pairing that he did with a bunch for Scythe. It was a beer pairing with all of the factions for Scythe.
Yeah.
That they did when they reviewed that.
Yeah, no, Danielle puts in a ton of work to a lot of the beer segments and
Yeah.
things that they do. Yeah.
Now we're just promoting Draft Mechanic.
I know, right? Go listen to Draft Mechanic.
They're great.
They are a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
I lost where I was. MyHighGameGuys.com, our
Yes,
website.
Our website.
where you can find show notes with links to the news items and Kickstarters that we talk about, as well as links to a lot of our other media stuff, our BGG Guild, our Twitch channel, our Slack channel, which you can join if you want to bullshit with us and our, 100 and so fans, of which 10-ish are active.
Extremely
and
active at all times.
2 to 3 are just always there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got back from snowboarding today.
Would you say too active? Who's to say?
There's no such thing as too active. Although I did get back from snowboarding today, and I opened up Slack and realized that the board game channel in Slack had 200 messages.
Now you know what I feel like after like a work day.
It was like 3 hours. Like I snowboarded for like 3 hours, took a break, pulled it open, was like, oh God, 200 messages. Nope.
Yeah.
Not even going to try to catch up on that. But yeah, so links to all that stuff on our website. And then if you want to support the show, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/milehighgameguys, which apparently we also need to change to MH Game Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the different ways to get a hold of us and interact with us and do whatever you want to do with us. As always, on Wednesday episodes, we would like to thank our sponsors, Gray Fox Games. Their latest game that Jeff got to see there at PAX.
Draw your own conclusions.
Draw your own conclusions. Thank you, Zach.
You're welcome.
At a fine $20 price point.
Yeah, so fairly expensive. Draw your own conclusions is basically a cooperative telestrations where one player is going to be trying to guess the drawing, and then everyone else will be working together to draw whatever that round's clue is. The catch is that each player can only draw one specific shape. So if the three of us were playing and Zach was guessing, I might only be able to draw circles, and Jeff might only be able to draw triangles. And we've got to figure out a way to draw something that would get Zach to guess the clue. Jeff, you said it seemed like people were having a whole lot of fun with it at PAX.
Yeah, they said that was one of their hot sellers, that whole convention.
I'm sure.
They had a big spiral stack of it, and it was like one day, over 30% of it was wiped out.
Yeah, so yeah, that'll be available probably right now over on their website, grayfoxgames.com, and then more recently or here in the near future at your local game store. So go check it out if you're looking for a cooperative, fun version of Telestrations, which, since I've been having a lot of fun with cooperative versions of some of those games, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially for like family shit like Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays, which we're right in the middle of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jeff, do you have a prepared statement about our sponsors?
I do. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, it's not about changing the world. It's about doing our best to leave the world the way it is. It's about respecting the will of others and believing in your own. Also, I saw Metal Gear at PAX.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. They didn't have the cool big like minis or anything yet, but they had the game on demo.
Ah.
Yeah. Looks neat.
Cool.
You can play as Gray Fox.
All right. On that note, we're going to wrap things up here. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Be sure to tune in on Friday to the podcast where we will have our next top 10 episode, the top 10 most influential or impactful or whatever phrase we decide to use for games
to us
individually that like shaped us into the gamers we are today.
So it'll be Storytime Top 10.
Yeah. It can be good, can be bad.
Exactly.
I've got it like a 50-50.
It'll be all over the place. And then there will also be a stream on Friday, I believe, right? Sans me.
Yes,
but
of a to-be-determined game.
To-be-determined game with no Adrian. So for those of you who hate me with a fiery passion, tune in on Friday because I won't be there.
We're going to hit partner in one show.
If we do, I will tender my that clause in our contract, that 30-day clause.
Yeah.
I will sign that over if you guys make partner in one day without me on the show.
Just average 75,000 viewers.
Good luck finding a new place. Well, I'll continue to rent this space to you
but
for
it'll be
a few $100s.
Yeah.
But that kind of viewership, sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
few $100 an hour. Yep.
Win-win. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Like I said, be sure to tune in on all that stuff. And until then, as always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Honk Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.